The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Good morning. Prime Minister Davis firing back at the Trade Union Congress, insisting the government is honoring the MOU signed with unions. But the PM says doctors also need to be accountable about overtime pay. As the Consultant Physician Staff Association responds to the Prime Minister's criticisms. And PM Davis also criticizing banks as a barrier to progress. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Friday, January 17th, 2025. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Also this morning in business, it is our monthly HR series. Ahmad Rashad Thompson's going to be here talking about leadership, challenges facing leadership and decisions and optics. All of that we're going to be getting into today. And more on the Shift conference that's coming up as well. That's all ahead. But first, it's time for the Overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Prime Minister Philip Davis says his administration has lived up to the terms of the MOU, that Memorandum of Understanding that the PLP signed with the Trade Union Congress and the National Congress of Trade Unions weeks ahead of the 2021 general election. Although TUC President Obi Ferguson initially touted the benefits unions received as a result of the MOU last year, Ferguson claimed the government was not living up to the agreement and questioned what was the point of signing the document. And after months of brewing discord, several TUC affiliates signed a two-day strike. Sick out this week over unresolved issues. During a press conference at Bahamar yesterday, the Prime Minister was asked to respond to Ferguson's criticisms. Davis saying, quote, "Well, I don't cry over spilled milk. It was a negotiated position, and despite what he is saying, we have lived up to the terms of the Memorandum of Understanding. There are 2 or 3 matters that will take time to accomplish, and that's where we stand with it, and we intend to fulfill those other items." That MOU was signed in August of 2021. Among other things, it called for the enactment of a livable wage, the supply of a parcel of land to each umbrella union to build their national headquarters, and the full implementation of national health insurance. The MOU also noted that all pension boards and major health committees would have equal representation between employees and employers. The PLP also agreed to meet with the labor movement representatives periodically, but not less than quarterly, to review the progress of the MOU's implementation and other matters of concern. Ahead of this week's industrial action, Davis said he had been trying to reach Ferguson, but to no avail. Yesterday, he said he received an email from Ferguson on Wednesday in response to an email he sent on Saturday. Davis said Ferguson accepted his offer to meet. Prime Minister Davis also saying that a sticking point in negotiations with unions representing the country's doctors has been the issue of verifying outstanding overtime pay and how to remedy this problem going forward. The Prime Minister saying that ongoing negotiations over a new agreement with doctors details a plan to have them sign in and out of work to document hours worked, a process he said the unions oppose. Grievances about overtime pay and other issues led to a 2-day strike by affiliates, sit out, industrial action at least, with the Trade Union Congress. Davis said there are 3 issues at the heart of the impasse with healthcare workers: overtime pay, health insurance, and finalizing agreements. Meanwhile, the Consultant Physician Staff Association and President Dr. Sherelle Lockhart saying that Prime Minister Davis owes its members an apology after he hit out at the association for taking part in that industrial action. Lockhart said Davis agreed with the union on all points raised in a November 2024 meeting, after which he promised to revert within a week. However, she says that never happened, and there's been little movement on the matters since then. Dr. Lockhart saying, quote, "The Prime Minister is well aware of what we discussed, and he should be a man of his word. We are owed an apology." And F&M Chairman Dr. Dwayne Sands accusing the Davis administration of insulting doctors and nurses while neglecting the healthcare system in the country. Dr. Sands saying, quote, "We're going on 4 years of disappointments, failures, gross neglect, and indifference towards the healthcare system." Sands comments coming after, the Prime Minister suggested that the doctors' unions, the Bahamas Doctors Union and the Consultant Physician Staff Association and the Bahamas Nurses Union, were unreasonable and accused healthcare workers who participated in industrial action earlier this week of putting their patients' health at risk. More from the Prime Minister, speaking at the annual Business Outlook seminar, pledging to eliminate unfair practices that crush small businesses. He also pledged to build a more efficient, business-friendly environment that benefits all Bahamians and sees new trade opportunities to help local entrepreneurs be more cost competitive and create more supply efficiencies. Prime Minister Davis saying, quote, "Too much of our economy has historically been controlled by a small group of our society, and our economic framework serves the interest of a few at the expense of many. High prices, inefficiency, and a lack of real competition in certain industries have created artificial barriers to entry in our economy. It has created a system where consumers are overburdened, businesses are boxed out, and progress is stifled." As business leaders looked on, the Prime Minister pledged to dismantle those barriers no matter how entrenched they are. A 40-year-old man accused of sexually abusing a 12-year-old boy will stand trial for the offenses in 2027. Terry Sears learning his trial date when he appeared before Justice Gregory Hilton for a fixture hearing. Sears, who is on bail, faces 3 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a minor of the same sex. He's accused of having relations with the boy between April 1st, 2024 and June 29th, 2024. Given the age of the alleged victim, Hilton set the trial as a backup on January 18th, 2027. The substantive trial date is scheduled for September 2027. Postponing the double murder trial of 2 men because prosecutors weren't ready to proceed. Hartman Roll and DeMargio Lockhart are accused of the November 23rd, 2021 murders of Pablo Moss and Melvin Johnson. They were fatally shot at Kwaku Street. Roll and Lockhart are on remand and were supposed to be tried next week before Justice Gregory Hilton. However, the matter could not proceed because one of the pathologist reports wasn't ready. Overseas, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu saying today a deal to return hostages held in Gaza has been reached after his office said earlier that there was last-minute snags in finalizing a ceasefire that would pause 15 months of war. Netanyahu saying he would convene his security cabinet later today, and then the government would approve the long-awaited hostage deal. His own pre-dawn statement appeared to clear the way for Israeli approval of the deal, which would pause the fighting in the Gaza Strip and see dozens of hostages held by militants in Gaza released in exchange for Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. The deal would also allow hundreds of thousands of displaced Palestinians to return to the remains of their homes in Gaza. Israeli airstrikes killed at least 72 people in the war-ravaged territory Thursday, though. Netanyahu said that he instructed a special task force to prepare to receive the hostages returning from Gaza and that their families were informed the deal had been reached. Israel had delayed a vote Thursday on the ceasefire, blaming a last-minute dispute with Hamas for holding up approval as rising tensions in Netanyahu's government coalition raised concerns about the implementation of the deal just a day after U.S. President Joe Biden and key mediator Qatar announced it was complete. And the presidents of Russia and Iran opening their talks in the Kremlin today before signing a broad cooperation pact. The Kremlin said that the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership Treaty, to be signed by Russian President Vladimir Putin and his Iranian counterpart Masoud Pezeshkian, covers all areas from trade and military cooperation to science, education, and culture. The signing comes ahead of the January 20th inauguration of U.S. President-elect Donald Trump, who has pledged to broker peace in Ukraine and take a tougher stance on Iran, which is grappling with growing economic problems and other challenges, including military setbacks in its sphere of influence across the Middle East. And a Texas truck driver charged in the deaths of 53 migrants who rode in a sweltering tractor trailer with no air conditioning pleaded guilty Thursday for the 2022 tragedy that became the U.S.'s deadliest smuggling attempt across the U.S.-Mexico border. Homero Zamorano Jr. pleaded guilty in federal court in San Antonio to one count of conspiracy to transport aliens resulting in death, causing serious bodily injury and placing lives in jeopardy, one count of transportation of aliens resulting in death, and one count of transportation of aliens resulting in serious bodily injury and placing lives in jeopardy. The 48-year-old could face a maximum sentence of life in prison. Zamorano is scheduled to be sentenced on April 28th. And Cuba has released a prominent dissident, Jose Daniel Ferrer, from prison as part of a government decision to gradually free more than 500 prisoners following talks with the Vatican. Ferrer, a strong opponent of the island's communist government, confirmed to the Associated Press that he was freed and that he was at home in a town in the province of Santiago, more than 600 miles west or east of Havana, saying that he was fine and surrounded by family and friends. The releases are also taking place days after U.S. President Joe Biden's administration announced his intent to lift the U.S. designation of Cuba as a state sponsor of terrorism. On Tuesday, the U.S. government said it notified Congress about the intent to lift the designation of Cuba as part of a deal facilitated by the Catholic Church, and that Cuban authorities would release some of them by the end of the Biden administration at noon on January 20th. Cuba then informed Pope Francis that it would gradually release 553 convicts as authorities explore the legal and humanitarian ways to make it happen. Havana saying, though, that the gesture to the pontiff is unrelated to the U.S. decision to lift the designation. In sports, the Nassau Cup, presented by IC International Club Bahamas, is set to bring a fresh wave of competition to tennis in New Providence, hosted by the John McEnroe Tennis Center at the Bahamar Resort. The tournament will feature a number of qualified teams in an elevated league format. Matches are scheduled to start from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturday, ensuring an action-packed experience for players and spectators alike. The tournaments unfold over 3 weekends. Read all about it in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Bahamas Youth Flag Football League is gearing up for a big milestone as they prepare to compete in the USA Flag Football World Championships in Tampa. That event is going to be held January 17th, beginning today, through the 20th. This international tournament hosts over 1,300 teams, presenting a big challenge for competitors. Details in today's Guardian Sports section. And overseas, Bob Uecker, who parlayed a forgettable playing career into a punchline for movie and TV appearances and was known as Mr. Baseball and a Hall of Fame broadcasting tenure, has died. The Milwaukee Brewers, whose games Uecker had broadcast for over half a century, announced his death Thursday morning while calling it one of the most difficult days in Milwaukee Brewers history. In a statement released by the club, Uecker's family said he had battled small cell lung cancer since early 2023. Bob Uecker, Mr. Baseball, dead at 90. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Got your first look at weather for this morning. We've got a pair of weakening frontal boundaries that continue to dominate weather across the country, producing cloudiness along with a few isolated showers. Winds will begin to relax beginning throughout the day today, and a developing area of low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico will move across Florida today, dragging some tropical moisture across the Bahamas. That's going to keep clouds and the chance for light showers in place for a good part of the country. So moderate long-period swells will continue to impact Atlantic waters, leading to rough seas and hazardous boating conditions. Boaters, especially small craft, are urged to avoid entering Atlantic-exposed waters. Beachgoers and swimmers should exercise caution along Atlantic beaches due to the elevated risk of rip currents. So for today, for the northwest and northern Bahamas, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy conditions, about a 20 to 30% chance of isolated showers. Winds southerly at 10 knots today. For the central Bahamas, partly cloudy today, partly cloudy for the southeastern islands as well. 10 to 20% chance of isolated showers. Winds east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots. Temperature-wise, today look for highs around 77, 78 Fahrenheit, about 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 60 Fahrenheit, 16 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up in just a bit.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way.
You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up. It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, wake up.
Double the holidays with Scotiabank, and you could win your share of $28,000 this Christmas. Just spend $300 or more on your Scotiabank credit card, and you could be the lucky first prize winner of $13,000, or the second prize winner of $8,000, or the third prize winner of $5,000. Win big and claim your share of $28,000 when you shop with Scotiabank this Christmas. Promotion ends January 27, 2025. Draw date February 17, 2025. Visit bs.scotiabank for more information. Conditions apply.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can start with a minimal upfront investment and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express, or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit cfal.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
For fast, reliable, and impactful printing services, look no further. Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life. We stand by our quality products that is second to none. Our affordable pricing and friendly, efficient staff makes Printmasters the ultimate choice for all your printing needs. We can deliver any type of printing services, from banners to booklets to business cards. You name it, we can print it.
Let Printmasters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Caves Village, or call 396-1100.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
On Saturday, February 22nd, 2025 at 7 p.m., the Bahamar Convention Center will set the stage for an unforgettable celebration of 25 years of giving back and supporting healthcare education in the Bahamas. Experience a night of excitement with exquisite fine dining, captivating live entertainment, and an inspiring atmosphere as we come together to celebrate and shape a brighter, healthier future. Tickets are available now. Reserve your spot today by emailing dhfoundation@doctorshosp.com or calling 242-302-4640. Sponsorship opportunities are also available to show your support for this important cause. The Doctors Hospital Maya Rassin Foundation. 25 years of transforming healthcare and building a legacy. Don't miss this special celebration.
Are you ready to elevate your day with a burst of flavor? Look no further than Dunkin', your ultimate destination for everything delicious. From our freshly brewed coffee that is sure to pick you up, to our signature frozen beverages that will cool you down. And don't forget our mouth-watering sandwiches, made to order all day. Dunkin' has it all. And of course, our lineup of fresh donuts, muffins, and more. Dive into a world of yummy flavors at Dunkin' and bring joy to your day. The Bahamas runs on Dunkin'.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow, Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/Morning Blend 969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. We've got a lot to talk about this morning, a lot going on in the news. Fallout, reaction, response to the industrial action earlier in the week. The Prime Minister has a lot to say about all these things and more. We're going to get to that. Later in business, it's our monthly series, our HR, our Human Resource series. And we're going to be talking about leadership and challenges, roadblocks, issues affecting effective leadership, and a whole lot more with Ahmad Rashad Thompson today. That's coming up. But right now, let's get into what's in the news. And in the news, Prime Minister Davis speaking quite a bit yesterday. He was at Bahamas Business Outlook, the annual event. He spoke there, but he had a press conference after his address, his opening address at Bahamas Business Outlook, and responded to a lot of what's been said over the past few days about the industrial action taken by the Trade Union Congress. He had a lot to say about doctors as well. We'll get to the doctors in just a bit. But the big headline in the Nassau Guardian today, Davis fires back at TUC. That's the Trade Union Congress. Our Tanika Thompson writing about it in today's Nassau Guardian. Prime Minister Philip Davis said yesterday his administration has lived up to the terms of the MOU, the Memorandum of Understanding that the PLP signed with the Trade Union Congress and the NCTU, the National Congress of Trade Unions, weeks ahead of the 2021 general election. Although TUC President Obi Ferguson initially touted the benefits unions received as a result of the MOU, last year he claimed the government was not living up to the agreement and questioned what was the point of signing the document. After months of brewing discord, several TUC affiliates staged a two-day sick-out this week over unresolved issues. During a press conference at Bahamar, the Prime Minister was asked yesterday to respond to Ferguson's criticisms about the MOU. Prime Minister Davis saying, quote, "Well, I don't cry over spilled milk. It was a negotiated position, and despite what he is saying, we have lived up to the terms of that Memorandum of Understanding. There are 2 or 3 matters that will take time to accomplish, and that's where we stand with it, and we intend to fulfill those other items. We intend to deal with them, one of which requires some capital outlay, and we can only do that when the capital is available." Insofar as the provisions of the MOU are concerned, if he's having buyer's remorse, perhaps he can then look at all that has been accomplished. If he's saying nothing has been accomplished, you can ask him what has been accomplished, and if he wants to roll those back. Oh, okay. Well, the MOU was signed in August 2021. So among other things, it called for the enactment of a livable wage, Still not there yet. The supply of a parcel of land for each umbrella union to build their national headquarters. Don't think that one's happened. And the full implementation of national health insurance. Not sure about that one. The MOU also noted that all pension boards and major health committees would have equal representation between employers and employees. The POP also agreed to meet with the labor movement representatives periodically, but not less than quarterly, to review the progress of the MOU's implementation and other matters of concern. Now, as you've been hearing, the Prime Minister has been saying he's not been able to reach Ferguson. But yesterday, he said he received an email from Ferguson on Wednesday afternoon in response to an email that he sent on Saturday. And the Prime Minister says that Ferguson accepted his offer to meet. He also said that Minister of Labour and Public Service, Pia Glover-Roll, has been instructed to meet with the unions and resolve the issues. The Prime Minister is also asked to respond to criticisms made by Belinda Wilson, president of the Bahamas Union of Teachers, and the other umbrella union, the Bahamas National Alliance Trade Union Congress. Wilson recently gave the Davis administration an F for its handling of labor relations and suggested the TUC is a favorite of the Davis administration, while her unions have been shut out of meetings with the Prime Minister. But Prime Minister Davis says he has no favorites, but is willing to meet with people who, quote, operate with respect, who have mutual respect. Okay. Interesting comments there, but that wasn't all. The Prime Minister also spoke at length about the issues facing the doctors, and he said they need to be more accountable. Take a listen to this report from our Vanik Toot.
While acknowledging the hard work and sacrifices made by healthcare workers, Prime Minister Philip Davis insisted the government is not negotiating against those workers, but in the interest of all Bahamians. His comments follow a 2-day strike which saw the majority of doctors and a small percentage of nurses called in, sending the public healthcare system into crisis mode. During a news conference on Thursday, Davis said 3 issues lie at the heart of their impasse. One of them is the union's request for overtime payments without requiring doctors to sign in or out of work.
Accountability is central to any organization, especially one funded by taxpayers. How can we justify paying overtime without verifying who worked and when? This is not just a technicality. It is about protecting the public's investments in the healthcare system, and it is about accountability. Every Bahamian who pays taxes has a stake in ensuring that public funds are managed responsibly.
The second issue, he says, is health insurance. Davis added the government has offered 3 comprehensive options to provide healthcare workers with flexibility and choice. Regarding the finalization of agreements, the Prime Minister said there have been instances where union officials failed to attend scheduled meetings. He urged leaders to return to the negotiating table.
The government is not negotiating against healthcare workers. We are negotiating on behalf of the Bahamian people. Our goal is to achieve outcomes that are fair to all parties. This is not about winners and losers. It is about finding solutions that ensure the sustainability of our healthcare system while addressing the legitimate concerns of our workers. To the union leaders, I urge you to return to the table. Let us resolve these issues together. We are committed to meaningful dialogue.
Regarding the way forward, the Prime Minister says he received an email from Trade Union Congress President Obie Ferguson,
and indicating he wishes now to accept my offer to meet with him. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but I've said to him, I responded to him last evening after seeing it, dealing with his characterization, I'll say no more than that, and then indicating that I'd spoken with the Minister of Labour over the last several days, and she has been instructed to meet with the unions and resolve the issues.
Davis also responded to Ferguson, who questioned whether it was a wise decision to sign a memorandum of understanding with the Progressive Liberal Party ahead of the 2021 general election.
Well, I don't cry over spilt milk. It was a negotiated position, and despite what he's saying, we have lived up to the terms of that memorandum of understanding. And there are two or three matters that will take time to accomplish, and that's where we stand with it. And we intend to fulfill those other items. I think it's about 3 items we have determined are still outstanding. We intend to deal with them. One of which requires some capital outlay, and we could only do that when the capital is available. So that will take some time. But
in the MOU, the PLP pledged, among other things, to enact a livable wage, supply a parcel of land to each umbrella union to build their national headquarters, and to provide the full implementation of national health insurance. Reporting for the Guardian News Network, I'm Vonnie Tude.
All right, so I want to get your reaction to this before we get to what the CPS they're saying and what F&M Chairman Dr. Dwight Sands is saying. Let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free. 242-300-5720. Tweet us. Facebook us. Text us. 422-4796. So if you're listening to this, they're saying that the doctors have been unwilling to do the time system that they require to sign in, sign out for the overtime, which head scratching and curious. Let's get your reaction to it. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Morning, Dwight.
Hi. Good morning.
All is well?
You sound very far from the phone. We can barely hear you.
Yeah, all is well?
Yes.
Yeah, morning to the Bahamas. Well, it's glad to see that the PM has addressed the matter, in reference to the union people, because this got to stop, man. The Bahamian people, the ones who are really dependent on the services, we are the ones most affected, and so it's glad to see that. That's a good thing. I heard him talk about some specific details pertaining to the issues and stuff, and he's prepared to work with the union, like he said. I just hope the union, they're prepared to work with him, so that our people can get the services what they need, man. Not an overtime thing and they signing in and yes, accountability is very, very important, Dwight. Don't care what job you work on your job or my job. If we do overtime, we must sign in. The way.
Well, somebody must be keeping a record. Someone has to. Yeah, it just can't be you saying it, right? There has to be some evidence. So that is very odd. Very odd. If it's true that they've been unwilling, and that just seems bizarre. But we'll see. We'll see what the doctors say about that, if that is actually the case.
And like he said, with one of the issues, like I said, the capital. The Bahamian people got to understand, and the workers and the civil servants and the doctors, the money's got to be in place, Dwight. If you're a businessman and your staff crying over some overtime pay and some perks and stuff over to them, and you don't have the money, Dwight, what they want you to do?
But like I told you yesterday, people see what's going on in the country, and there's a lot of money being spent on things that many of us are questioning whether that is essential, whether that's important or necessary at this time. So that's part of the problem. When you see money being spent lavishly on a lot of other stuff, wait, don't you owe us money? Why are you doing that when this is happening over here? So that's the part where people just can't accept this.
So we should just, we know our national debt. We know this country running off a deficit. So we should just continue to just give out more monies, pay out more monies, and just continue to run up the national debt.
But that's what people are saying, right?
Just to please some civil servants.
Wow. For work that they've done already? I mean, I don't think you'd act like this if this were your money, right? I think you'd be very upset if someone owed you for years and didn't pay you.
Well,
while all kinds of other things that are not necessities are being purchased.
Well, Dwight, like I say, I just all for a resolution, man, because the elderly, And then those who really need the medical care, they are the ones being affected. The children at school, the teachers them not showing up, they are being affected. So, and then with these civil servants need to understand, these doctors, they work for the people, and the government realize that too. The government work for the people.
Yeah, and
The masses of the people.
They
and
they
so the
worked
people.
as in they already did their job, and they want their money. They want the things that were promised to them. So again, these
So don't care how you get the money. Don't care how we get the money. We gotta whatever we gotta do for the money. Just get them the money.
Boy, I'm not saying that, but thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. I hope that no one owes you money for years and makes excuses every time they are to. You ask them what's happening. It's not a pleasant feeling. It's not good. Not good at all. It's not good when you get paid a day late. So, okay. Wow. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you doing?
Doing well.
I don't think that previous caller understands what's going on. I don't know if you have a job or anything. You know what I mean? Because I agree with the Prime Minister. If they don't have all their ducks in a row in regards to evidence saying that they work this overtime, they need to present that.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
But they have to be paid. They absolutely have to be paid. They've worked for years and not being paid, so they continue to work even though they haven't been paid. I don't understand why people are saying that they shouldn't pay them when we have all types of persons being paid by the government to do certain jobs. You understand what I'm saying? But they have to be paid, right? It's very simple.
Very.
Come up with the documentation that supports the overtime that you've done, and let the government pay these people.
Yeah.
So
thanks a lot. I'm very curious as to when it was noticed that people weren't clocking in or keeping a record of when they worked. Because people were saying this goes back years, but you're telling me that it was years before people realized that I don't have any way to verify the overtime? How was that allowed to continue? This is more confusing than I thought it should be. So this is odd stuff. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning and a pleasant day to you, sir.
Same to you.
And the Prime Minister looked very prime ministerial yesterday and also sung it that way as well.
Oh, yeah?
There was a lot going on in the news, several things, but, he's coming off of this industrial action in quotation marks, so some things have to be said. But what I believe needs to be done, I don't know how we can get it done at a national level, is that the country need to operate like a very massive business, and there should be a balance sheet, a profit and loss statement for every transaction, every payroll, every money that is paid out of the government, every money that comes into the government, and it should be available for scrutiny. So even the thing that we say we see about money being spent, that is perhaps just the tip of the iceberg, or just that may be trivial compared to other money goes that's paying, that's seemingly legitimate, but not fully being in a comfortable manner, so to speak. Let's for example, a contract is given to do a job, and the person does the job shabby without any inspection and to see that it's durable, that it's going to last 20 years, it's going to be done solid. But that person is already paid for the job, or is even not paid for the job, be owed for 10 years, not only just the people who are on strike and so on. So people know that when government owes you, you can get paid. Even though there's anybody beyond 5 years now, which I heard so, but I don't think that could stand. So it's a lot of things that need correcting, and we have a long way. I don't know how we'll get it done, but I guess there has to be a people power situation where the people have to say, well, this is it. Not now. Of course, it cannot be done overnight because it didn't happen overnight, but a step has to be made, an arrangement has to be made. And as you say, even if you have to pay a little at a time, but make a plan, make an arrangement, and get the entire house in order.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Let's take some more calls. Got a lot of your messages coming in. We'll get to those in a bit, but let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Strachan.
Hi, good morning.
Yeah, I see you enjoyed one of my texts yesterday.
Which one was that?
Or the PM visiting the hospital and the PSYOPs. You forgot to put the word photo or video PSYOPs. That's all it is.
Oh, okay.
But, I'm not green in my brain and naive as most of the callers seem to be. The first caller, his only point is the people suffering. But, I mean, he seems very naive or underread. Like, he can't think. Me personally, I would not believe that the doctors don't want to sign in unless I hear that from them themselves. So thank you very much for having that chain of thought, because it's counterintuitive, right, Mr. Strachan? It's counterintuitive. If I want to get paid, why would I want to document how I work?
Right.
But secondly, I'm a hospital. I was in hospital for numerous times, and I spent over a month there at one point in time, maybe more than once. But I realized that I asked some doctors if they're asleep, because you asked, like Sparky showed you, they watch them come up, go home, and come back. And sometimes, even in any trade work, Dwight, in any trade work, there is vagaries. So if a doctor has a certain amount of surgeries to do or whatever, he can't, he might say this take a amount of time, but there are vagaries that he encounters as he's doing his work. So to me, they work more than they're supposed to work. I don't think they watch the hours like that, because the government can't really pay them for every hour. If they was niggly like that, then I got to give them some kind of credence here, even though some of them were dishonest during the pandemic. But what I'm saying is, Mr. Strachan, is I can't just accept a one-story narrative when that is counterintuitive. And so when we look at the stories that the Punch was running for decades, and let's look at the $17 million drones, let's look at the stories about friends, lovers, and families being given certain jobs in a way and spending money on poof-star friends and all these different accusations. And just the illegal migration crisis, where social services, the schools, they're just the overspending, the misuse of the public place in a multiplicity, in multiple ways. So what I'm saying is, you are asking for accountability, and let's say prudence should be involved in all of this, but there's no accountability for the bureaucrats. There's no freedom to information. Nothing is being, nothing, but I'm saying, and people are paying taxes, but you're saying accountability, but you're not yourselves being held accountable for the way the taxpayers' money is being spent as regard to issuing contracts and all of this. Everybody should be under scrutiny, and that's just the way it is. So I'm not going to buy into accountability as if they so care about accountability. What about the accident and emergency that there's no urgency? Dwight, I call it a multi-trillion-dollar contract, because that's what it is. It has to be multi-trillion-dollar, because it's taking too long, man, right? The embassy, come on, they gotta get some money. Even non-governmental, what they call it, public-private partnership, is a way to dupe the people and enrich some other private individuals. So, the country is running amok. Okay. Let's look at passing new ordinances, right? You talk about local government. The government can make revenue from passing new ordinances all around the city, where everything is allowed to happen. From putting up stores anywhere, from just traffic infractions, littering. They have to innovate. Like Graham said, you just can't tax the people. The government has ways of improving its revenue income.
Absolutely. But unfortunately, most of the folks who seem to want office today aren't thinkers like that. It appears. All right, so we're trying to get some understanding of what's really happening here with this overtime situation, and hopefully our caller here can provide some clarity. We've got Dr. Dwayne Sands, F&M chairman, with us. Good morning, sir. Great to have you with us. Hi, good morning, Dr. Sands.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Trying to understand this. What exactly is happening here? It's been going on for a long time, but how was it allowed to continue for so long before somebody said, wait, we don't have a way to document or record how long you've been working, or if you actually worked those hours? Is that how this has been going? It's kind of confusing.
If I may just briefly give you an understanding as to how we have gotten to this point.
Please.
Doctors work hours that most workers in the country would never, ever imagine. So you have some junior doctors, and I'm going to distinguish between junior doctors and senior doctors, meaning consultants versus interns, SHOs, registrars. Some of the junior doctors may work 60, 80, 100 hours a week. For that, they are paid a salary, and they are then given an increment or percentage of their salary as on-call. But there is no consideration of the number of hours worked beyond that 40 hours. Now, over the last 3 years, even over the last 10 years, even when I was a minister, there was some movement by the junior doctors to recognize the extra hours worked. When they worked holidays, when they worked Christmas, when they worked weekends, etc., as more than just one day, to try to get some appreciation, as it were, for the incredible hours that many of the doctors work. And this has been a bone of contention. I find it amazing now that the government, who was very supportive of the doctor's position when I was minister, went on strike, in part over the same issue, that now have taken this very hard line. When you talk about the senior doctors in the public health system are engaged for 20 hours per week and also then given an on-call allowance. Their issues are more related to the fact that they do not get health insurance and so on and so forth. This has been an ongoing discussion for many, many years. So for the Prime Minister to now suggest that this is a simple issue that, can be dealt with just by somebody taking a card and swiping in. So let's say you swipe in and you record 100 hours a week. Are you going to be paid for 100 hours a week? That's not on the table.
Wow.
And so this is more complicated than is being presented to the public. And I don't think it is a good idea to try and vilify either side. This is the time to roll up sleeves, get to the table, and to talk.
All right, so is that the only reason why this is contentious? Because they're not sure that they would be paid if they worked 100 or 120 hours?
That is one of the issues. Another one of the issues is the issue of insurance. You have nurses that get insurance. You have policemen that get insurance. You have civil servants that get insurance. And the doctors say, my Lord, why is it that we can't get health insurance?
All right, but for those who are going to say that, that's not really the best excuse, that we aren't certain whether we would be paid, so we're not going to swipe in. You got to make it make more sense than that. I mean,
no, I suspect that the Prime Minister chose that particular little point to curry favor in the public. This is a war of perception. And to listen to the president of the union's comments that they are owed an apology, I think that this is starting a war that makes absolutely no sense. And so to present this, to hold this thing up as if signing in and out is the major issue is unfortunate. Is it an issue? Yes, it is an issue. Is it an issue that has been on the table now for the better part of 10 years? Yes, it is.
So what have the doctors proposed? At least with the hours and signing in and knowing how many hours you worked and recording that. What have they proposed?
Well, again, there's distinctions between the junior doctors and the senior doctors, and I think where we are in 2025 is that the whole model of engagement of physicians, junior doctors and senior doctors, needs to be completely revamped. The model of with the definition of full-time, for instance, that looks at a consultant, somebody who works 20 hours per week, is a model that goes back to the 1960s, and I don't believe is appropriate. I think what we really ought to do is to be quite disruptive and look at the engagement full-time physicians at the public healthcare system. In terms of junior physicians, the idea that junior physicians would be engaged for a lifetime is something that needs to be looked at again. Mm-hmm. The model, which worked 30, 40, 50 years ago, we're trying to move that same model into the second part of the 21st century, and it's not going to work. So there needs to be a more transformational approach to the engagement of clinicians and nurses and other healthcare personnel. Mm-hmm. What is not helpful is to vilify anybody because all that does is cause people to hunker down, take positions that are not flexible, and I think, sadly, the public will not benefit. The patients will not benefit. And this really ought to be about protecting the interests of the patient.
Yeah. I have to ask you this. So you were Minister of Health. I know you weren't there as long as you would have liked, but why, as an insider, could you not have gotten this matter resolved with the time issue and insurance as well?
This matter was one of the matters that caused the doctors to go on strike when I was minister. Mm-hmm. And, we sought to sit down and negotiate. And I will tell you, the current TUC leader was then the lawyer for the doctors' union, and was supportive of them withdrawing services. And you may recall doctors going out on strike.
Right.
So, this has been a challenging issue. As you know, we then moved into a period of COVID, and a lot of those negotiations came to an end. And then shortly after that, as you know, I ended my tenure in May of 2020. Mm-hmm. So it's unfinished business, and I believe the template for realigning the relationship between physicians and the healthcare system to the benefit of all is there. The Minister of Health and Wellness need only look at the recommendations. The Minister with responsibility for labor need only look. This is not an unsolvable problem, but it is going to require that neither side take inflexible postures.
Mm-hmm. And before we let you go, the insurance issue, this seems relatively simple, or are we missing something? Why has this been such a long-standing
I think this
problem?
is a very simple issue, and it boggles the mind that healthcare professionals in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas do not benefit from health insurance. Doctors do not get health insurance. It is an absurdity.
Wow. Dr. Sands, thank you for the time. We appreciate it. Hopefully we will see a resolution soon because, as you say, this is absurd how these issues don't seem that complicated. But it could be lasting so long.
If I may say, Dwight, and I know my comments have been published, but, against the backdrop of what seems to be very little accountability as far as spending of the government, these demands are almost laughable by the Prime Minister. And you can fritter away $1 million when there are outstanding issues in healthcare as it relates to simple repairs that can't get done. And you want to nickel and dime the doctors and talk about accountability. It's not a good posture, and I think it's going to be a regrettable position.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Dr. Dwight Sands, thank you so much, FNM Chair, for speaking with us this morning, bringing some clarity to this long-standing issue here. We appreciate you. All right, let's see if we can squeeze in one more call before we go to a break. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
How are you?
Hi, good morning.
Fine. I don't know who advising the Prime Minister. If you rewind the the videotape. The minister was talking about the same issue when she came in, as far as the overtime not coming in. People are getting their monies paid on overtime, and I think that was corrected by Miss Glover. So I don't know who's giving the Prime Minister misinformation about this overtime situation and people's time ain't going in right. That was corrected.
Well, maybe not for the doctors, though. Maybe not for the doctors. For other folks, perhaps.
No, it's the public service. She mentioned all aspects.
Yeah,
I'll never forget that. So I don't know who is advising the Prime Minister.
Obviously, it's not.
It
Obviously,
doesn't
doesn't
look good, my friend, Dwight.
obviously doesn't count. This doesn't relate to the doctors.
Yeah, it does. I'm telling you, I remember.
No.
The whole public service, you remember, the whole public service, the minister is responsible for all, and they were dealing with all this issue with overtime on all aspects. So the minister...
That's possibly for the Public Service Union, possibly, but obviously there's still issues with the doctors.
I'm telling you that the public service pays for
Well,
everybody.
they're telling you they haven't received it. They're telling you.
No, what I'm saying is the minister recognized that there was a problem a few years ago with all the situation, doctors, the regular staff who wasn't getting their overtime. And I remember this very clearly. Why the Prime Minister doesn't have this information, I don't know. That's the problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, obviously not everybody got sorted out. Okay. Callers, hold for us. We're going to take a break. We've got a whole lot of your text messages to get to. We do want to read what the CPSA is saying about the Prime Minister's comments. A whole lot more to talk about on this Friday. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Puts them lining up. We gon' bring it back to Bombay. We about to line it up. Girls, them winding up. Gotta roll that bongie like it's been clear.
Oh, I got that feeling. Ain't nothing holding me back. So I tell all the girl them, I got that feeling. This drunk canoe got me throwing it back.
It's going down out on Bay. Yeah. Down on Bay. It's going down out on Bay. Yeah. Down on Bay.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas.
BC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice. It's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the Know-How team at 396-1101.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Get your first good traffic in, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. A reminder of the work going on Cowpen Road, the paving work between Blue Hill Road and Vinspin Road. That is mainly taking place between 9:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. It's scheduled to wind down today. We'll keep you posted on it if that is the case. But avoid the area if you can, or follow the posted traffic signs in the area. All right, in your real-time traffic right now, we've got Milo Butler Highway. Heavy traffic from well south of the Fire Trail roundabout, straight up to Tawny Williams-Darling Highway if you're heading northbound. And traffic building on the Fire Trail side, eastbound to that roundabout. And on the Tawny Williams-Darling Highway side, heavy traffic westbound for you at this hour. We're seeing some building traffic at the six-legged roundabout on the JFK Drive side. That's northbound on Milo Butler Highway, and a bit of congestion on the southbound and at New Providence Highway. Over on Gladstone Road, it's busy as well from Fire Trail straight up to JFK Bahamar Boulevard and the roundabout. Blue Hill Road, heavy traffic for you from St. Vincent straight through to Independence Drive, especially near Carmichael and Soldier Road. Carmichael's backed up eastbound to Blue Hill Road right now. And then we've got East Street looking pretty busy for you just north of the Soldier Road intersection on the way to the roundabout with Independence Drive and East West Highway. And then Robinson Road, you're not moving from Prince Charles and Soldier Road straight through to East West Highway Marathon. Soldier Road busy for you again on the way to Village Wolf and Bernard Road. Eastern Road, you're parked as usual from San Souci to Johnson Road, and heavy traffic along Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections. That's what we're seeing so far. Good luck to you. We'll have another update after the 8 o'clock news. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you. And we've got another check of your weather for today. We've got a pair of weakening frontal boundaries that continue to dominate weather across the country. It's going to produce some cloudiness and isolated showers. Winds will begin to relax today. A developing area of low pressure in the Gulf of Mexico expected to move across Florida today. And that's going to bring some tropical moisture across the Bahamas. It's going to keep clouds and the chance for light showers in place for portions of the country. Moderate long-period swells will continue to impact Atlantic waters, leading to rough seas and hazardous boating conditions through today and the beginning of the weekend. Boaters, especially small craft, are urged to avoid entering Atlantic-exposed waters. Beachgoers and swimmers should exercise caution along Atlantic beaches due to the elevated risk of rip currents. Today, we're looking at partly cloudy to cloudy conditions over most areas. About a 20 to 30% chance of showers for the northern and northwest Bahamas, 10 to 20% chance in the central and southeast islands. High temperatures today in the upper 70s, around 77, 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 63 Fahrenheit, 74 Celsius. We're going to be seeing some gradual warming for the weekend before things start to cool off again by the middle of next week. So for Saturday, tomorrow, partly cloudy across the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny across the central and southeastern islands, a 10% chance of spotty showers. Highs back up into the 80s. Pretty much the same for Sunday, partly sunny during the day, increasing clouds across the northwest Bahamas at night. And by Monday, partly cloudy across the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny across the rest of the country, a 20% chance of isolated showers across the northwest Bahamas, as we continue to see highs in the 80s. Again, cool off as some fronts move in by Tuesday into Wednesday. That's your Morning Blend weather check. We'll be back with more Morning Blend after this on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
What? You don't know what TDC is? Tourism Development Corporation? You mean the Ministry of Tourism? No, that ain't the same thing, buddy. The Tourism Development Corporation helps to develop and grow behemoth businesses in the tourism industry. You hear what they say, boy? Oh, yeah. Develop and grow. You don't know what all the things saying do? What does do? Check the website, boy.
Start your journey to ownership of our #1 industry today. Log on to tdcbahamas.com.
Are you craving that fresh, famous food, but don't want to break the bank? Wendy's has got you covered. You can now enjoy the $5 Dave's deal at all participating Wendy's locations. Enjoy a Dave's single, a classic, or spicy chicken sandwich made with fresh ingredients for just $5. So don't compromise on flavor just because you're on a budget. Wendy's always offers fresh, famous food at a great price. Certain conditions apply.
Fender has a new line, the Sky series of porcelain. It comes in 4 colors, Sky Noir, Sky Gris, Sky Glance, and this one, Sky Azure. As the name suggests, you would think it has a strong blue component, but the blue is kind of like just a hint in the overall coloring of the porcelain. The blue feature runs more or less the center of the tile, and that's surrounded by light shades of gray. The Sky Azure, like the others in the series, needs to be seen to be appreciated. Stop by Pender Tile and have a look at Sky Azure, one of the 4 in the Sky series.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
All right, let's see if we can get some text messages in really quick before we go to the news, and then we'll pick this up with more of your calls, and we want to talk about some more things that the Prime Minister said after the news. But here is a text. Oh no, the Prime Minister just lost my vote. His response is a big disgrace. You know, at age 74, he just needs to go home before we send him home in 2026. Okay, all right. Sure. This person says it's clear the first caller is a PLP supporter. In their eyes, the government can never do wrong. This is an odd text here. What's this? Reparations, Bahamas now level the playing field. Only the chosen few friends or lovers or the UBP run things here. Okay, maybe that's in relation to the Prime Minister talking about banks and stuff. I don't know. And this text here, that first caller is repeating the narrative that his political party is using for these union discussions. Do you honestly believe that intelligent people would approach the government without their facts or ducks in a row? Yeah. Interesting stuff. We're going to pick this up in just a bit. This is Morning Blend on a Friday morning here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Down on there, it's going down out on there. Yeah. Down on there. So we tell them, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na, oh na na, oh na na na. It's going down out on there. Yeah. Pushing down the road, I like the way she roll. You could see them colors from far away. A fight on overload, and everything exposed. We've been waiting all year for this parade.
Oh, I got that feeling. Ain't nothing holding me back. So I tell all the gal them, I got that feeling. This junk I knew got me throwing it back.
It's going down out on there. Yeah.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
It can't be said I'm an early bird. It's 10 o'clock before I say a word. Baby, I can never tell. How do you sleep so well? You keep telling me to live right, to go to bed before the daylight. But then you wake up for the sun to rise. You know you don't gotta pretend. Baby, now and then, don't you just wanna wake up dark as a lake, smelling like a bonfire, lost in a haze. If you're drunk on life, babe, I think it's great. But while in this world, I think I'll take my whiskey and leave. My coffee black and my bed at 3. You're too sweet for me. You're too sweet for me. I take my whiskey and leave. My coffee black and my bed at 3. You're too sweet for me. You're too
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com. You can listen to us on the Guardian Radio app. You can watch us on the Guardian Radio app as well, and online on GuardianTalkRadio.com. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan, and we are talking about what's in the news, getting a reaction to what Prime Minister Davis said yesterday. Quite a bit, he said, talking about the TUC and the industrial action this week, talking about doctors saying they need to be accountable about the overtime issue and how they have been refusing to swipe in. Of course, F&M chairman, the former Minister of Health, Dr. Dwayne Sands, called in to say, hey, it's not as simple as the Prime Minister is making it out to be, and giving a little bit of clarity on some of the challenges faced there. So we got a whole lot of your text messages to get to, and we want to take more of your calls. But I do want to read this article about what the Consultant Physician Staff Association is saying. So Rachel Scott writing about this in today's Nassau Guardian, that CPSA President Dr. Sherelle Lockhart said yesterday that Prime Minister Philip Davis owes its members an apology after he hit out at the association for taking part in that two-day industrial action. Lockhart said Davis agreed with the union on all points raised in a November 2024 meeting, after which he promised to revert within a week. However, she said that never happened, and there's been little movement on the matter since then. Lockhart saying, quote, the Prime Minister is well aware of what we discussed, and he should be a man of his word. We are owed an apology. Now, yesterday, the Prime Minister said his government has been cooperative in negotiations with the CPSA and the Bahamas Doctors Union and the Bahamas Nurses Union. He also suggested that the unions were being unreasonable in their demands. One of his claims is that the unions are requesting overtime payments without requiring doctors to sign in or out of work. Lockhart said that Davis is conflating the issues of the different unions. She noted that overtime pay is not an issue related to the CPSA. However, the CPSA's issue is clocking in, something she said is not required of senior physicians anywhere else in the Caribbean, U.S., or U.K. Saying, quote, our concerns are being mixed up with the concerns of the Bahamas Doctors Union. We are all doctors, but our concerns are vastly different. The relevant authority is the Prime Minister. He heard and answered most of our concerns and agreed with us on all points raised. The CPSA cannot be compensated appropriately for our time and expertise, and thus would not be expected to clock in. Lockhart said another key demand of the CPSA is that the new industrial agreement be dated to begin immediately after the expiration of its 2021 agreement to ensure there are no gaps. She said this current one ended in 2021 and the new one should start 2021-2022, and the gratuities owed should be paid. Lockhart said the only issue of the CPSA that Davis requested more time on following the November meeting was the matter of a group health insurance policy, which the physicians currently do not have. She said it was agreed that they would be afforded group health insurance just like the uniformed branches and the nurses, saying, quote, he promised to revert in 1 week. That meeting was held on November 22nd. This could have all been avoided with his signature, as words mean nothing. Instead, he referred us back to the ministries that have been turning us around for the last 3 years. The Ministry of Finance is needed to sign off on our outstanding issues, as they all have financial implications. Wow, some serious words there. A discord between several unions and the Davis administration has been brewing for months, as you know, and of course led to the 2-day rest period on Monday and Tuesday. But the doctors really responding to what Prime Minister Davis said yesterday, and just, let's get your reaction to it. Answered it. What's really going on here? Why would you say these things if you know that you're the reason why things haven't moved forward? This is very perplexing. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Caller, good morning. You are on the air.
Morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Yeah, very timely topic. And the sad thing about it is, I'm not sure who these negotiators are, right, for all these years. There's a big pink elephant in the room. What the government must realize, and the doctors' union and those must notice, is that the doctors are not permanent employees of the government. Those doctors are private consultants with private individual contracts, contracted to do work for the government. That is the problem. If I want Dwight to work overtime outside of the contractual agreement that he has with me as the government, as a private consultant, then he and I must sit down and negotiate the terms and of agreement of that contract. The government must sit and negotiate with each of those doctors privately on their contracts in order to accomplish what they need to accomplish. That is what they are missing.
Well,
that is what they're missing. They're
the
not the
CPSA.
permanent staff of the PHA.
The consultant physicians, no.
Pardon me?
Not the CPSA, right, exactly.
Yes, that is what all of them are missing. And Green Science
I think they are all aware that this is spin that they're doing for people in the audience, the population who might not understand it fully, right? I think, but they know fully well what they're dealing with.
Yeah, but then somebody's messing up at the table, Dwight. Either the doctors who are negotiating for them, he ain't negotiating the individual contracts. Those people are private consultants. And there's no doubt in my mind that they're not working the time they say they're working, but you can't subject them to the same thing you subject the permanent staff to. Because once they finish their work at the hospital, they pack their bags, they go about their business. That is what the problem is. They need to negotiate individually with those doctors. Thanks for taking my call.
Well, okay. I don't know about that per se, but okay. But the consultants are saying, yes, the CPSA are saying we are not like the Bahamas Doctors Union, and so that won't work for us. Exactly. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning, Bahamas.
Good morning.
Yeah, let me give you some information and bring some clarity to what's happening. When I was president of the union, I tried to deal with this matter, especially as it relates to the dentists and the public service that were under my bargaining unit at the time. Here's what happened. First of all, in the public service, when you reach a certain salary and a certain rank, you don't sign in. When Mr. Herbert Brown decided to put a swipe system in the hospital, he made it mandatory that every staff member had to sign in. So there was a challenge because some doctors who were not used to signing in because of their rank and salary thought that was a kind of a put back to them or a set back to them or setting them back. Now, the problem is this. The Employment Act, to some extent, don't protect you when you're at managerial level in the public, but in any employment. The Act doesn't protect managers and supervisors. And so they had to negotiate this. And let me just tell the caller who called you this just now. When you have a union negotiates on behalf of all the members. So you don't individually go to the government and do a negotiation one by one.
That would be
the
chaotic.
Union does it on behalf of the entire membership.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So here's what's happening now. The doctors challenge the fact that they should not be signing in. But the problem is this. Because those doctors have private practices, especially those senior ones, the government is trying to ensure that they give them the 20 hours a week that they were supposed to. But there are some doctors that were not giving the 20 hours a week. And there were some who were given more than 40 hours a week. So they still have to suffer for the guilty. The government wants to ensure that, and this is accepted governments, wants to ensure that the 20 hours is given. And in the case of those other physicians that does work many hours, like Dr. Stein said, but there's some that don't do it. And the ones that does it, to some extent, has to suffer because there's some ones that are not putting in all their time. So the only way the PHA could have controlled the time was to ensure they swipe in, and based on the hours they swipe in, they were paid for those hours. And that's the only way that there'd be some level of transparency. And so there's a catch-20 situation here. The government does not trust, and I might as well tell you, the government, especially this government, does not trust the doctors. And you have to trust the doctors. You got to trust the people. You got to believe. There can be one or two bad apples in every bunch, but the majority of those doctors does put in a number of hours, and it's unfortunate that the one or two that doesn't causes the whole system to be having this situation frustrated in this situation. So the government has to allow the doctors to be accountable for their time. If you understand that. But you really cannot hold innocent guilty for those who are not complying and being honest with their time.
Right.
That's the problem right there.
Yeah.
As it relates to insurance, when this insurance thing came up, the PHA had the same concern. How do you ensure that a claim presented by a doctor is a legitimate claim? It's a matter of trust again. And that's why they had this whole problem with wanting to do the insurance. So they might as well come clean and say to the doctor what the problems was.
Why would that be an issue? Because they're doctors, or what would
right? Because they're doctors,
and
because they're doctors, I can need a couple dollars, and your doctor says, man, listen, come and claim saying A, B, C, S, and D. And there's nobody can challenge a doctor.
Oh, boy.
You can't challenge it. So that's what the problem is. That they have to find a mechanism to get it sorted out. I had recommended them that they ought to get a facility that should only the doctors have some part of some facility that doctors own and control for their own healthcare situations. In the absence of us not having the equipment or expertise here, then you have to cost them to go where they can get that, and the government has to cover it, either by way of their own insurance or the government covers it because they're the employer of the doctors. But it was a matter of trust. I can tell you that. Let me get to the bottom. There was a matter of trust.
Was this said in any meetings, like to the doctors' faces? Like, we don't trust that you all would be... Really?
Pardon me?
Was that said to the doctors? Someone actually said that to doctors? We don't trust you all?
Indirectly, it was said to me, especially when I was representing the dentist.
My goodness.
They came under the BPSU bargaining unit at the time. But I sat in some meetings on behalf of the junior physicians in the public service. And this is the concern, indirectly the concern was, how do you trust the claims coming from the doctors? How do you trust their time? How do you know they're giving the government the time that they're supposed to give the government if they don't swipe? That's the concern. That's what it is. They do not trust it.
That's crazy. That is very disturbing. Wow, my goodness. Okay, so this is going to be long, basically. John Pender, I really appreciate you calling in. Thank you very much. Oh, my goodness gracious. Is that why some people go abroad? Anyway. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Hey.
Hey, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
Listen, I have a marketing idea for you, but I can try to call you later on that.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I think it's an excellent good one. I just want to sidetrack and come to the point. But Dwight, when we're not dealing with climate change and pandemics and economic inequality, and now we got political instability, this prime minister does not seem to know how to lead. And when you have the majority of the people in your society feel as though you're not being upright and truthful to them, that's going to have some societal harms. That's really going to lead to, instability all around. Maybe now that he's taken on the professionals, we should see a great turn of events in the future in our country leading up to getting rid of him. Perhaps we should request that he start clocking in, because we need to know where he's go, what he's do, because we paying him. He forgot that.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Thanks.
Okay. All right. Interesting. And let's take this call and then we'll get to your messages here. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, good morning. How are you, Dwight?
Doing well.
All right, great. So I need persons to understand that there are two issues coming out. One for the CPSA, which are the consultants, and one for the BDU, which are the junior doctors. The issue with the consultant is not necessarily a time issue, it's a value issue.
Mm-hmm.
As a consultant, the PHA has a 24-hour access to any specialty service, and sometimes it doesn't require them to come in, but how do you book or pay for a guy that you can call at 2 o'clock in the morning for any issue in your specialty? So I know in the corporate world, if you have to make consultation calls, those are billed and they come very heavily priced.
Right.
So having a consultant position clock in for 20 hours, because only in-house hours really count, is not looking at the value they bring, and it's only really the time that they bring, that they actually being billed for. And I don't really think that's fair to them, because their value is much more than standing in hospital for 20 hours. Now, the issue with the junior doctors, I know I've seen a few persons saying that, the junior doctors are being greedy and we want overtime. But the problem we have is that there's no junior doctor in the hospital that works less than 40 hours a week. We actually often work 24-hour shifts, anywhere from once to 2 times every single week, a straight 24 hours, and we often don't get off the next day. So within a 2-day period, we can actually do 30-plus hours. So getting 40 hours in a week is not a problem.
Wow.
The issue we have is that when talking about overtime pay, the words that are being thrown around is only approved overtime will be paid. So the BDU has decided that it's going to make sure that all of the legal wording is correct before we can sign on to any document that essentially would say that, you can work 60, 70 hours a week, and because legally it's not considered approved overtime, you're not going to get paid. And that's all that's really happening.
And who is supposed to approve the overtime?
I'm so sorry, I didn't know that.
Who is supposed to approve the overtime? Who would that be?
And that's a question that's yet to be answered. So, as a junior doctor, if you think about it, you come to work on Monday, you're working on for a 24-hour shift, and you have a second 24-hour shift either anywhere from every third day to every fifth day. So within just those two 24-hour shifts, you can work your full 40 plus hours. So it's never a situation where any junior doctor would be working less than 40 hours. We essentially just want the right to collect the overtime over that 40-hour period. And you can ask. We have the current Minister of Health, he was a doctor. The previous Minister of Health, who was also a doctor. And you could also ask the previous Prime Minister, who was also a doctor.
Right.
They would tell you that they never worked less than 40 hours when they were in hospital. And they can tell you about the 24-hour shifts. And I'm sure Dr. Sands, who had very supportive words for us on his most recent interview, would tell you about how, as a surgical doctor, they would come to work on a Friday and wouldn't leave until Sunday evening.
My goodness.
So they would put in a 72-hour shift. There was never a case where a junior doctor, who, by the way, does not work private, only works for the public, does not put in 40 hours. It's just that there needs to be a situation where the legal wording ensures that you can get the benefits that you need. And the problem with it now is approved overtime.
So I'm curious.
I need the public to understand that junior doctors work hard. And we have never left the public without a means to address any emergencies. We've never been negligent in our job, leaving persons in a dangerous situation. We always leave emergency staff in place. And that's something we need to understand. We are here for the public, but we just need better working environments and to be compensated for the work that we actually put forward.
Sure. So let me ask you, we're hearing from everybody else about this insurance issue, but from your perspective, what is the problem here? What's really going on?
You mean junior doctors getting insurance?
Yeah.
Well, there is a means for us to get insurance. However, in today's world, the issue with insurance is not really enough. And you would think that it would, we wouldn't get vision and dental. More than 90% of the doctors are not on the insurance because of the benefits isn't the greatest, but we're trying to see if we can get persons to sign on.
So, but this one seems like it might be easier to solve than the other issues. Is that correct to say?
It's all financial.
Yeah. Okay.
So I would love if we had insurance just like the defense force or the police force. That would be excellent. But it's generally a young, healthy population that should be very insurable. But we went through COVID. Most of us either underinsured or not insured, and we supported our population over that time.
Wow. Oh, boy. I really hope this gets resolved soon. It's been dragging on for far too long. I really appreciate you calling in.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
We went to a very fruitful negotiation going forward, but our goal is never just for money. We want better working environments. And if we do have to work over 40 hours, we want to make sure that we are compensated for that. Because imagine working 60, sometimes 70, 80 hours a week and not being compensated. Eventually, we're going to get tired.
Yeah. For you personally, how much back pay are you owed? Do you know?
I'm sorry, I didn't know that.
For you personally, how much back pay are you owed? How much overtime?
I couldn't even say. I often work 6 and 7 days a week, and every 5 days I work a 24-hour call.
Oh my goodness!
So I mean, you could do the calculation, and we can all sit down and think about how rich it can be because doctors are greedy, but it's not about the pay for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, thank you for calling. We salute you. I know this is tough. This is very difficult working in conditions like this, and not easy hearing the type of language you've been hearing over the past few days, I can imagine. But thank you. Really appreciate you calling in. You're going to let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And good morning to the Bahamas. Dwight, I'm kind of speaking from a position because of experience. I kind of agree with the PM to a sense with both doctors and lawyers, and I'm going to explain to you why. Recently I had a doctor's appointment, and when my wife called and asked for the appointment, they asked what it was all about. She explained to them and everything. I went to the doctor. They said it would be $240 for the visit. I goes to the doctor, they tinkle around with the little issue that I claimed that I had and everything. And by the end of the day, in 30, 40 minutes, that $240 went from $240. After asking me all of my personal business of, what I do and all of that type of stuff, me telling them I'm a general contractor and all of that type of stuff, that $240 quickly turned to $680 in 35 minutes. $680, Dwight. And, I think, and then I had a recent experience with a lawyer who did the
but
same
one
thing.
second, though. I mean, this is a private practice that you went
What it has to do, when the Prime Minister says...
Before you go on, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
The doc, that was a private practice. That wasn't the hospital that you went to.
No, that was a private practice.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's totally different from what we're talking about here, though.
Okay, but all right. My point is, I'm speaking to the point of whether you can trust what these people. What is the issue with if you're trying to prove that you work certain hours or you're owed a certain amount of overtime? Wouldn't clocking in or swiping a card prove that for you? I mean, what's the issue? What's the
All right,
issue?
so were you listening to the other callers and the doctors who've called in all morning about the consultant doctors, the senior physicians are saying why they have an issue with that, right? Because they are on call 24/7. They get calls in the middle of the night. So this clocking in thing is challenging in that regard. So right, it's different from the doctors union. That's why. And the Prime Minister oversimplified the issues. So that's what I'm saying.
It's a catch-22 situation and everything. So,
really.
I don't know.
And then you see, I don't know why you brought up your private doctor situation. I mean, that's something totally different. But it sounds like that was a specialist, right?
My thing is, why does it matter to you what I do, what kind of profession I'm in? As a doctor, what does that have to do with my health?
You'd be surprised. What? You might be working with chemicals that could be causing your problems. You might be standing all day, and that's why your back is the way it is. That's a reasonable question. You don't think so?
I don't know. Well, I don't know. You know what I'm going to do, Dwight? I'm gonna. Well, it may not help. Okay. I hear you, Dwight.
Mm-hmm.
I hear you.
All right. Oh boy. Oh my goodness. All right. Let's take a break. I need a little break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. I got a lot of your messages. We got a lot more to talk about. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
It's 10 o'clock before I say a word. Baby, I can never tell. How do you sleep so well? You keep telling me to live right, to go to bed before the daylight, but then you wake up for the sun to rise. You know you don't gotta pretend.
Let's face it, life is hard, but your healthcare doesn't have to be. Give yourself peace of mind with LAMP plans at Doctors Hospital. Sign up today and enjoy the low-cost advantage. Get up to $5,000 in credit limit for non-covered services and 2 free nutritional consultations. Choose your plan today by visiting doctorshosp.com/LAMP. We make healthcare easy.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
The Water and Sewage Corporation is rolling out new digital meters designed to give you more accurate readings. With advanced technology, you'll be able to monitor your water usage in real time, get more accurate bills and early leak detection to avoid costly surprises. Better service starts now. Watch for our installation team in your neighborhood and get ready to experience the convenience of digital meters. Follow us on our social media platforms for more information. Digital meters from the Water and Sewage Corporation. Innovative, convenient, and designed for you.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
I feel all broke up, ain't sleep all night. My body is aching, no appetite, scratchy throat.
Got your final look at weather for today, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. We've got a pair of weakening frontal boundaries that continue to dominate weather across the country, producing cloudiness and isolated showers. Winds will begin to relax today, and a developing area of low pressure over the Gulf of Mexico is going to move across Florida today, and that's going to drag some tropical moisture across the Bahamas. This is going to keep clouds and the chance for light showers in place for portions of the country today. So moderate long period swells will continue to impact Atlantic waters, leading to rough seas and hazardous boating conditions. Through today, boaters, especially small craft, urged to avoid entering Atlantic exposed waters. Beachgoers and swimmers should exercise caution along Atlantic beaches due to the elevated risk of rip currents. For today, for most areas, partly cloudy to cloudy. We're looking at high temperatures getting up to about 78 Fahrenheit, 26 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 63 Fahrenheit, 74 Celsius, maybe a bit cooler in the northern islands. We're going to warm up a bit, though, for the weekend. So for Saturday, tomorrow, partly cloudy across the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny across the central and southeast Bahamas, highs in the low 80s and lows in the mid to upper 70s. Wow. And mid to lower 70s, rather, but still warmer than what we've been seeing the past couple of days. Sunday, partly sunny during the day with increasing clouds across the northwest Bahamas at night. Fair elsewhere. Monday, pretty much the same. Partly cloudy across the northwest Bahamas, partly sunny across the rest of the country. By Tuesday, you might begin to see some changes. Partly cloudy to cloudy across the northwest and central Bahamas, partly sunny in the southeast Bahamas, leading into Wednesday when we cool down a bit again for the next few days after that. That's what we're seeing right now. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints got you covered for all your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And your final look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Find your loan solution with RBC. In your real-time traffic, still looking pretty busy out there for you. We've got a number of hot spots to tell you about. If you're heading into the downtown area, West Bay Street is busy, just east of Arawak Key and Western Esplanade. Near Nassau Street, heavy eastbound traffic on West Bay at this hour. Got the six-legged roundabout. We've got eastbound on JFK, southbound on New Providence Highway, northbound on Milo Butler Highway, southwestbound on Farrington Road, all looking a bit busy for you as you approach the roundabout. Milo Butler Highway still heavy for you north of Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway. Fire Trail still slow-moving eastbound traffic towards that roundabout right now. Glass Road is a better alternate route for you this morning if you can get there. Just as you get closer, about midway between Fire Trail and John F. Kennedy Drive, you'll see that slow-moving traffic for you. Then in eastern New Providence, we've got Eastern Road still slow-moving for you, just east and west of Fox Hill if you're heading westbound. And Prince Charles Drive, especially near the Soldier-Robinson intersection, Robinson Road not moving up to Marathon East-West Highway. Soldier Road looking very busy for you near Windsor Place and Old Trail, especially today. Blue Hill Road, well, right now, Blue Hill Road, lots of issues there near St. Vincent, and especially near Carmichael, straight up to Independence Drive, east and west of that roundabout on Independence Drive westbound, and on Tonic Williams Darling Highway westbound, you can be seeing slow-moving traffic up to Bahamas Games Boulevard. Good luck out there. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Start a conversation at rbc.com/loan/all of you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
I feel all broke up, ain't sleep all night. My body's aching, no appetite. Scratchy throat, runny nose too. Got to see my doctor, it could be the flu. Oh doctor, doctor, I ain't doing good. If I got the flu, then that's understood. He said, open your mouth wide, say ah. You've got all the symptoms of the flu thus far. I got the flu.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be going to Morning Blend Business, our monthly human resource series with Ahmad Rashad Thompson. We're talking about leadership today. You're not going to want to miss that, folks. We're going to have a really great conversation in just a few minutes. All right, so we want to get through this really quickly. We've got a few things to get to. So the Consultant Physician Staff Association, they've issued a statement in response to Prime Minister Davis's statements a couple of days ago in which he questioned the integrity, professionalism, and accountability of doctors who were out sick for those 2 days of that industrial action on Monday and Tuesday. So the statement says that the PM had seen fit to mention our Hippocratic Oath, specifically the principle of non-malfeasance or do no harm. We, the CPSA, planned the mitigation strategies to make sure that the hospital was able to provide urgent and emergency care to all who needed it during our recent call-in. We delivered that service because we know our commitment to the Bahamian people. This commitment does not mean that we should in any way allow our employers to disrespect and demean us. We are extremely disturbed by the very suggestion that we are not committed to the care and welfare of our patients, especially when we toil daily in a public system which is consistently plagued with insufficient manpower, equipment, and other needed resources. Our issues go beyond the attacks of our integrity and the misinformation given by the Prime Minister, the Medical Director of the Public Hospitals Authority, Dr. Abinand Roll, and the Minister of Health and Wellness, Dr. Michael Darville, to the public to incite discontent with us physicians. Wow. In his speech, the Prime Minister confused the concerns of the CPSA with those of the Bahamas Doctors Union. We are all physicians, but our issues are vastly different. Wow. And a lot of the other stuff we talked about already. So, boy. And this is what I've been telling some of the callers who are saying that the union should not have given notice. I think they did because they did not want to really hurt people. They wanted to send a message, but not destroy the place. And so I applaud them for that, at least. So everybody else could run around and figure out how to deal with this coming, but just know you will notice that we're not there. And I think we should all be grateful because it could have been a lot worse. It really could have. Let's take this call really quickly. Caller, good morning. You're on the air. Are you there? Nope. All right. I want to get to this really quickly before we go. We're running out of time for this part of the show. But the Prime Minister had some very strong words about banks, criticizing banks as barriers to progress. Take a listen to this before we run out of time here. This is, again, from Bahamas Business Outlook, which was yesterday. Listen to this.
Have been caught in these delays. A young Bahamian recently told me how they spent months going back and forth with a bank, providing the same documents over and over just to open an account to launch their small business. By the time the account was opened, the opportunity that they were pursuing had passed. And I have many more stories like that, where young men lose their job because they couldn't be paid directly into a bank account because they were unable to open a bank account. What we see here is not just inefficiency, it's a barrier to progress. And I'll tell you now, it just cannot continue. Let me give you another example. In Rwanda, it takes just 6 hours to get a business license. 6 hours. That is the standard they have set for themselves, and they are delivering on it. So let me ask you this. Why can't we? Why should a process that takes hours in other countries take weeks or even months here? It's time we stop making excuses and start making progress. I've been troubled by this for the last 3 years that I've been in office, and I thought I would have made more progress by now. But the time has come for that progress to be made. So I've directed the Department of Inland Revenue and other agencies to create an environment where entrepreneurs don't feel like they are fighting the system to succeed.
Okay, Prime Minister Davis speaking yesterday. He's been troubled by it for 3 years, hasn't made much progress. Well, things might have actually gotten worse, to tell you the truth. So it will be good to know exactly what is the thing. When you talk to the banks about what's going on, they'll say it's because of the requirements that they have to meet imposed on them by the government, the KYC stuff. So which one is it? Is it the government making them do these things, or the banks just doing this out of spite? What are you saying? So we need more information. Everybody's pointing at each other and saying, you're causing this to be like this. Very odd. And what's going to change now that you're fed up, as many other people are? When will we see the difference? What forms is going to take? So many questions that I don't know if we're going to get an answer to, but it is quite curious. So, hey, we'll keep you posted on that. Just wanted you to hear that. And things that make you go, All right. The banks know they can always come on and let us know what the deal is. And we hope to hear from the Ministry of Finance as well. We're going to take a break for news. When we come back, we're going to get into leadership. It's a very timely topic. And we're going to bring up some things that you'd be surprised about as well. So you don't want to miss it. In business in just a bit. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
He checked my pulse, he sound my chest, said drink plenty liquids, be sure and don't forget. Check my pressure, he checked my glands, said take this injection, sure you understand. He wrote a prescription, prescribed for me. He said down the road there's a local pharmacy.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, January 17th, 2025. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. It is time for our monthly human resource series every third Friday each month. Can you believe we're already into the third Friday of January? We have Ahmad Rashad Thompson with us, human resource expert, always giving wonderful, wonderful advice and conversations. Happy New Year, sir. Great to have you with us.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Bahamas. Thank you so much for having me. Happy New Year. Indeed, Dwight, it is January 17th.
Yeah, you got
Last week, it was November 3rd. It was June 4th.
Right,
The time is going by so quickly.
It's insane. It'll be 2027 soon.
I can tell you that. Wow.
My goodness. All right, so we're going to be talking about leadership today. And this is going to be very timely because there are a lot of issues regarding leadership
100%.
in the country and some things that are leaving people scratching their heads and very confused about what leaders are doing. And we're going to touch on as much of that as we can. Before we get to it, though, you've got a big event coming up.
Indeed, right. We are 14 days away from the thing that's going to change your life forever. Outside of Christ.
Okay.
Outside of Christ.
That's pretty big.
The Shift Conference is the thing that will take you to your next level in business, in leadership, in life in general. We are gathering on January 31st, 2025 for the third annual Shift Conference. 25 speakers are gathering from around this country and across the pond to come and pour into you, to give you the opportunity to truly shift the trajectory of your life.
From across the pond, too?
Say it again. From across the pond. We have a person coming in from the United States of America. We have somebody coming in from the Great Grand Bahama, as well as somebody coming in from the Turks and Caicos Islands. And they're all coming to help you to get to your next level in whatever you want to ascend in. Listen, I want you to think about where you were this time last year. Where were you January 31st or January 24th, I believe, what it was last year, 2024. Are you exactly that same place today? Have you made any adjustments? Have you made any changes in your life? Are you different than you were last year? Is there anything that you're doing that makes you better than you were last year? If you're hanging around the same people who continue to lambaste and degrade and negate and trying to talk you out of your purpose, if you are still stuck on that job that you loathe, if you are still in the position of, I have this great grand idea, but I can't seem to take it from ambition to action. I can't seem to move from the point of concept to actual fruition. If you feel stuck, if you feel just over it, in this room are going to be 200 and some individuals who've all decided to shift. Who've all decided to take their life into their own hands and make their future brighter than their past. They want to use the experiences that they have had, and they want to elevate their lives. They want to take things to the next level. And these people that gather every year, Dwight, the shifters as the audience, but also the people that God directs us to speak. People ask me all the time, I saw somebody in the food store the other day, Mom, when I can make the shift stage? I said, when God tells me.
Oh, wow.
Because honestly, Dwight, I don't pick anybody. I get inspiration every September, October somewhere. God says to me, call them, call this, call that, and all of a sudden, I have a list of persons that are going to be speaking at the following year shift conference. And this year, I believe that God has handpicked these 25 individuals who are going to come and transform your life. The thing about it is, Dwight, you need to be in circles with people who are living where you want to be, right? I saw a post the other day on social media, and the gentleman referenced the fact that you need to be in an environment where what you want is the reality, right? So you're looking for more in life. Go to the people, follow the people, engage with the people who have the more you want. That does not mean coveting. That does not mean being jealous. That does not mean trying to take what they have or envy them for what they have. It simply means, hey, Dwight seems great at that. Where does he go to get better at it? What is he listening to? What is he reading? Who is his mentor? Who is the person or the people that he is having to pour into him? I want to be more like them. I want to be in that circle with them. Versus hanging on the block or going to work every day and letting the same people in your office just talk so negatively about everything, complaining about everything, talking to your spouse or your family members, and they keep telling you, oh, don't bother with that, you're doing too much, you're being too extra. Mom, sir, it's time to be extra. It's time to give the world what you have. It's time to be all you can be, literally. And you ain't got to join the army to do so.
Wow.
Come to the Shift Conference, transform your life, change your future, like literally transform it. These individuals, Dwight, have taken ideas, have taken concepts, have taken setbacks, and they've made them stepping stones. We have on stage incredible people I want to go through quickly, Dwight. The cadre of speakers that we have this year for the conference. And I want to make sure I don't miss anybody, so I'm going to go to my notes. We have Dr. Tori Phillips, who's coming in from Florida, Tallahassee, Florida. We have Miss Qtel DeVoe coming out of Grand Bahama. Qtel has just launched her Ugly Duckling line of nail. I don't want to understate what she's done, but this lady has an empire. She has hundreds of thousands of followers on social media. She has amassed an incredible body of work by doing nails. Something that your Grammy and your auntie tell you shouldn't be doing because that doesn't cost you no money. I ain't sending you to school if you don't nail tech. Mom, listen to me. This is not just doing nails and putting polish on somebody's finger. This lady has created an empire. She is selling products to the people who make the products. Wow. Okay? We have Mr. Wayne Munker from Mother Freeze and Bakehouse. We have Ms. Raquel Roll. She is a playwright and funny lady in the Bahamas. We have Mr. Samir Bhatti coming in from from BTC. He is the CEO of BTC. We have Sherilyn Misgiggles. She's going to be there. We have Tamika Forbes, who's the vice president of Human Resources at Atlantis. We have Lincoln Deal, Farida Sands, Timothy Smith. We have Marisha Walker as a panel moderator this year. We have Kendrick Delaney, the CEO of the New Duff. We have Pia Farmer, the CEO and managing director of Easy Car Sales over there on East West Highway. We have Theo Seeley. We have Sawyer Boy. We have Kenny Campbell Moss coming in as a panel moderator this year as well. We have Dasque. We have Vernice Joaquin, CEO of NAD. We have Andia Delancey. She is senior manager over there at Scotiabank. We have Keishelle Davis. We have Levin Wilson. We have Felicia Ellis. We have Alton Edgecombe. We also have Ruth Forbes coming in from Turks and Caicos. We have Mr. Antoine Hinsey, the CEO of Sound Creek Group. We have all these individuals coming to Dwight to pour into you, to talk about how do you take your talent and turn it into treasure? How do you take your idea, turn it into income? How do you lead in this very, very treacherous world we're living in right now? How do you thrive in change? How do you lead through change? How do you take advantage of all the advancements in technology and the way that these multi-generational workforces are coming about? We're going to have conversations about how do you ascend to the C-suite? All right. How do you become a female in leadership? Ruth Forbes, coming out of TCI, Turks and Caicos, is the first and only female of Fortis globally. She is the first and only black person to be a CEO, first and only native of any land to be the CEO of where Fortis is established in any part of the world. Right. So she's broken barriers. You have Vernice Joaquin, who's the CEO of NAD, the first female to do so, local to do so. Andia, who is a senior manager at Scotiabank, she started her journey at 16 years old. Wow. as I think some like receptionist, something like that. And then we also have Tamika, who is the Senior Vice President of Human Resources of the largest employer in our country outside of the government. These ladies are going to tell you what it takes to become a C-suite leader, what it takes on the journey to get there, the mistakes you should avoid, the lessons you can learn. The bottom line is, at this conference is where you change your life.
Yeah.
That's the bottom line. We have people who gather every year. We have returning shifters. Ahmad, I couldn't wait till he dropped the link out and register my crew. We have organizations like Colina. We have organizations like NAD, organizations like Alive, the Central Bank of the Bahamas, Zoana Millwork. We have AML, the Ministry of Tourism, who have all registered what we call in their shift squad. They send in a whole crew down because we need our organizations to get better. Why not start with the shift conference, right? Absolutely. So you may be a business owner, you may be a leader in your organization, you may be at the bottom of the totem pole, but you're hearing my voice right now and you figure, you know what? I got to be in the place where dreams come true, where realities go from ambition to action. We take the world and make it what we want it to be. And for any one of you listening to me right now, I want to give you a special gift as we are 14 days away from the game-changing, the premier leadership and business conference in our country. I don't care how you've been so far. I don't care if you can go rest of this year. Ain't nothing like the Shift Conference, my friend. I can tell you that now. Wow. If you go to theshiftexperience.com, that's THESHYFTEXPERIENCE.com. theshiftexperience.com. Again, shift is spelled with a Y. And you go to register right now. If you register with the code BLEND25, you will receive $50 off of your ticket, whether that's VIP and or general admission. Okay. If you are a big spender, if you are a big dreamer, if you are a man or woman of a great diversification, my Grammy would say, you're going to buy the VIP ticket because it gives you access to our pre-conference reception, which is going to be held the night before on January 30th. We're calling it the Winner's Edge, Dwight. You're going to have an intimate opportunity to connect with our speakers, to connect with other movers and shakers in the community, to learn, to sharpen, to grow. We're going to have an opportunity for you to speed network with these people who are doing what you want to do. Right? These are millionaires, Dwight. These people have amassed a fortune, they've amassed businesses, they've amassed the level of success in the leadership and their businesses that you want, and you want to be able to sit with them and ask them some questions, 5 to 7 minutes each. When I ring the bell, next person. Oh, wow. You've seen speed dating on TV, and on these TV shows, we're going to have the same concept in speed networking. So you get to sit at the feet of a Lincoln Deal, of a Levin Wilson, of a Keishel Davis, of a Tamika Forbes, and ask these questions that you wouldn't be able to ask them if they're on a stage or if you see them in a food store. You get to sit with them and ask them, look, man, I have this idea. How do I get this to the next level? Who do I go to for investment? Who do I go to for funding? Who do I go to get a partner to do my manufacturing out of China? You get this clear, crisp access to these people who have been where you are, where you want to go.
Might even be one of them.
You never know. They may say, you know what, it's a grand idea. Let me sow into this. Let me invest into this. We're also going to have an opportunity for you to enter a pitch competition. You won't win any money, so get it together. Let me make that very clear. But what we want to give you, Dwight, what we want to give our audiences is insight, information, and access. So now you leave in this platform after 2.5 hours with everything you need to take your idea to the next level, to overcome your business challenge, to overcome your leadership hurdle that you've been facing, to get to the next point in your career. You're sitting at the feet of men and women who have done what you're trying to do. They are the example. The Holy Spirit said to me, as we planned this conference this year, Dwight, he said, son, you have a responsibility to demonstrate possibility. And that's what we're doing with Shift 25. On the stage are individuals who have demonstrated, continue to demonstrate, continuously working harder, stretching themselves to become the best version of themselves. And I want you to be able to take advantage of that. So not only will you get access to that pre-conference cocktail reception, our Platinum Partner Access Cowork Suites has afforded you a free month of membership at Access Cowork Suites down there at One West Plaza. You're going to get up to 2 hours use of any boardroom or training space for the month as well. You're also going to get 20% discount on your membership should you decide to join the community, if you decide to join between now and February 28th. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, you also get preferred seating at the conference. You get additional insight from our speakers, and you're joining a community that is going places, moving forward in their career, in their business, in their leadership journey. This is not the thing you want to miss.
Right. Wow.
To miss this is to miss your future. And I promise you don't want to do that. I want to pay special attention, please, Dwight, if I can, to our sponsors. who have joined us. We have the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce. We have Simplified Lending, who's our silver partner. We have Soundcrete, who's our silver partner. We have Montego Church, who's our corporate partner. Sun Oil, who's our corporate partner. Sun Oil has been with us from day one. They've joined us every year for the Shift Conference, and we're so grateful to them. We also have the Access Cowork Suites Group, who's our platinum partner, and we have people that are still looking to sign on today. If you want to join us, there's no limit. I'm breaking all the rules this year. So come, let's go Pilot Bahama vendor space and let's break the place down, because we want to put you in the position to take your business, your life, your leadership to the next level. So if you go to the shiftexperience.com, you use the code BLEND25, you will be able to receive $50 off of your VIP and or general admission ticket. And do not be selfish. Bring your office mate, bring your crew, bring your cousin group, bring your WhatsApp group, bring your book club, bring your girlfriends, bring your baba, bring your church. Just come. Come and change your life.
How long is that code good for?
That is going to be good through the weekend. I will give you until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. To get your stuff together, to get your shift together. You just borrow money for everything else. If you don't got it, go find it.
Oh my!
If you don't have it, go find it. The tickets are $297 for VIP and $197 for general admission. This includes lunch and tea and coffee, refreshments, and that sort of thing at the conference as well. If you buy VIP, your reception is covered in that price as well. You do not want to miss this life-changing, transformative event. I guarantee you, your life will never be the same.
Again, the code is BLEND.
BLEND25, indeed.
For Morning Blend.
Absolutely.
Morning Blend business,
Absolutely.
right.
Indeed.
All right, wonderful stuff. We'll get a reminder about it before we wrap up.
Yes.
All right, so we're going to be talking about leadership today, and so many things have been happening in the news that have people talking about leadership. I mean, I think that's always the case, right?
Yes.
But I want to ask you this. How important is it for a leader to practice what you preach?
Dwight, it is one of the most paramount things any leader can do. To have this mindset that you are to do what I say, not what I do, is dangerous, it's irresponsible, it's reckless, and it's unreasonable. You ought to be the example you want to see in your organization. Do you need to be perfect? No, sir. But you need to be you are the example, you are the mold. If it is that you are not doing what you've asked me to do, how do you expect me to do it? What is the model? What are we really doing if you're not modeling the behavior you want to see? You've done all the work to put it on your website, to put the plaster on the wall, to put it on your LinkedIn and put it in the papers, but every day you're looking and showing up different? You don't exemplify what you said your values are. You don't exemplify what you said your vision and mission is. How do you expect your team members to then do so? How should they exemplify what you put on a wall or put on a plaque somewhere when you don't do it yourself?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So I'm asking because, I mean, Christmas came, plenty of people got a sad story from the boss. Oh, this was a rough year, no bonuses, no this, no that, no promotions, no whatever. But then boss shows up in a 2027
For Lord's
vehicle.
sake. Wow.
And lots of fancy clothes and new hair every week, nails every day.
All day.
What do you do when you see that? And wait, you said this, but the appearances suggest otherwise.
Something different. Okay, so I think this is a very thin line, right? Because as the owner of the business, I have two things that I want to do. I want to protect the profit and I want to protect my people, right? If I'm doing it right. I want to ensure that my people have the resources to bring me in more profit. I'm also the business owner. Things that I'm going to be privy to, have access to, that you, my employee, may not. Because I'm able to enjoy a certain lifestyle does not mean that the company is indeed, or hasn't indeed, not performed the way it should have, right? Me being to afford a new car does not mean that the company didn't do as well as it should this year. If I'm a sound business person, if I am making sound financial decisions and I'm investing my money and I've diversified my income, most business owners in conglomerates aren't only the owners of that business, right? They have their hands and their money in lots of other pots. And so there's income coming in from different places, right? Even me, as I mature in my business ownership, I am diversifying where money comes from. right? So if it is that one arm of my business is underperforming this quarter or this year, I'm looking to the other arms to bring in some residuals or to do some things that I wouldn't have to wake up and perform for, right? Today, if you book a suit talent management, you're going to get a Mad Rashad Thompson. So I've had to find ways to diversify my income without having to show up to make it, right? But let me revert to the other point. If it is now that the leader, the organization, the owner of the business has said, okay, team, this year we underperformed, which could be factual. It probably is, right? We were supposed to have, let's say, we were supposed to sell 15 mics. We only sold 12, right? Which means we're underplanned by 2.3 whatever $million. Okay? We were supposed to not use 14 cases of Clorox, but we used 27. Wait a minute. We in the hole another 2.3 million. We did not perform the way we were supposed to. Every business has goals and things they want to accomplish. And finances are going to be driven by performance. So if it is that we underperform financially, you shouldn't expect the bonus. Does that mean that I, the business owner, don't get to show up in my new fancy car and my hair always cut in my new fancy jacket? Potentially not. What I have done, potentially, hopefully, is diversify my income, pour it into other parts. I'm receiving money from elsewhere. Perhaps I'm even paying myself a salary that I've also used appropriately, right? So I think it's a little bit of a shady, not shady, what's the word I want to use, Dwight? It's a very thin line.
Yeah.
Then you also have people who will lie and say, oh, we didn't do well at all this year, but I went to my 40-day cruise with my wife and my children.
Right.
That's true. That's possible as well. I'm not saying that both of these things can be true at the same time, but I want people to understand that organizations are in business to make profit. You make profit when you perform. You do better when you perform well. You are rewarded when you perform well in most organizations. There are some organizations that have the mindset that the reward for good work is more work. You need to throw that away. Don't burn your people out. Don't give them too much. Don't overwhelm them with burdensome work. Overwhelm them with reward. And employees, the Bible says, overwhelm your leaders with love. Right?
Yeah.
We have to. I'm an advocate, Dwight, for personal accountability and personal responsibility. If it is that you know, and I want to put this on three heads, right? We have the person who has successfully manage their business and manage their finances, diversified income, invested in this and invested in that, and the dividends come and they can go on their cruise or buy a new car. Fine. Then you have that leader who may be untoward and be untruthful and say, you know what, we performed very poorly this year, no bonus for nobody, or clock out and go home. That's also true. But then we also have the employee that is really doing really, really well, performing, doing the best they can, exceeded every target. Should they be held to the same account that the person that did not is held to? When I worked in a bank, in my former years, I was an overachiever. I always exceeded the target. Always. There was one year, Dwight, my last year in banking, where I exceeded how do I say that? Okay, let's say, for instance, the target was $2 million, right? I got my first $2 million in the first 6 months, and then I got promoted, and I got the target for that level of lender in the next 6 months.
Wow.
So I met and exceeded two different categories of loan officers' targets in one 12-month period. In that same 12-month period, there was a technicality. So, Ahmad, you were supposed to sell 4 Clorox, 2 Beep, 3 mic, and 4 cup. You sell 18 cup, congratulations. You sell 53 Clorox, 47 mic, but you won't sell enough Beep. So you can't get your bonus. Say that again to me in English, Spanish, German, and Dutch, because you got to be kidding me.
Wow.
But I had leaders who said, over our dead bodies. This man has single-handedly saved our branch, and you can talk smack, run him his money or wish you did because we gone. Two of my leaders, my branch manager and my lending manager, said in writing, do what's right or wish you did. And in 2 weeks, bonus is paid and I got my bonus, but then that's my last 2 weeks there as well. Because here's what Ahmad does.
Your choice.
Good evening, good day.
Okay.
I will not be giving you my all, and then you tell me, for a technicality. Now, mind you, am I to be held accountable? Absolutely. Should I have sold the 47 beep? Sure. But and the kind of person I am, the kind of employee I was in that time in my life, when I was an employee, there was nothing not documented. So every challenge, you heard the Prime Minister say the other day, oh, the bank's taking too long and so and so. I don't necessarily believe that's altogether true. I don't think it's altogether untrue. It depends on the individual. No customer of mine, I wish a former customer of Ahmad Rashad Thompson could call this radio show and attest or prove me wrong, because you never know, that you were never ever unaware of your status with any application, any account, and 9 times out of 10, if there was a circumstance that the bank was at fault for, you were still fully aware.
Yeah.
Because I need you to understand, ma'am or sir, your progress is either delayed or advanced because of A, B, or C, right? But my point there is, if you have an employee that's doing well and doing extremely well for your organization, exceeding targets, meeting goals, so on and so forth, should they be beat with the same stick as somebody that did not? Not necessarily. I don't believe that's the case. There should be clear expectations set. If you do A, you get B. If you do C, you get D. If you don't do any of that, you get nothing.
Yeah.
The person that does nothing should expect nothing.
All right, you said so many questions. Okay, so the most recent thing you said, the leaders are willing to go to bat for you.
Yes.
There's so many who are not willing to
Yes.
stick their neck out
Yes.
for fear that something could happen to them.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
What causes that, and what can you do about that?
2 things cause it. I believe 1 is insecurity, and 2 is workplace culture. If a leader feels like he or she cannot speak up, that is an indictment on the organization. First, I would say that first, because it could be that I'm just fearful and I'm just afraid to stand up for my team, or I'm on spine or whatever. But
as a human.
As a human.
Right.
That in my business, that in my fight, you better go do that for yourself, kind of thing, which is really, really not good. But it could also be that the culture in the organization does not does not call for us to be able to speak out and say, wait a minute, man, this is wrong. This individual has given, and here's the fact, not my opinion about the matter, not the fact that she's bringing Starbucks every Monday or bring Sunday dinner every Tuesday. The fact is, she did or he did A, B, C, and Q, and it's proven, right? That success that he or she has driven has caused us to enjoy so and so, even though the branch or the organization may not have met its goal. This person did, right? So standing up for your team members also creates an environment in your individual space that you have control over or influence over, that, you know what, I see my boss standing up with me and fighting this fight with me, I can give him some more of my time and more of my effort, versus, oh, really? You can leave me in the lurch like that? Figure it out.
Yeah.
Do what you could do. In fact, I have COVID twice this week. I come back to work. My belly broken down. I got emergency in my car ain't working. My daughter's sick. Or I just learned of a term this weekend. I was doing some research, Dwight. There's conscious quitting and there's quiet quitting, which you know about, right? But conscious quitting is leaving the organization because this no longer serves me. Our values no longer align, right? And if my leader is not standing up with me or standing up for me, if the conversations aren't being had, not to cause confusion, but to bring clarity, to be fair, to demonstrate fairness, why would I give you my all? An employee that's facing that, please reevaluate how you're showing up to work. Right? Because you can be better or you can get better. That choice is yours. You can reevaluate the circumstance and realize this place no longer serves me. I'm giving more than I'm getting back. I need to now figure out my next step.
Yeah.
Start your exit strategy and figure out, where should I be going from here? What talents do I need to take and to enhance and advance to get to my next level? Is this organization still for me? And then for the leader who is spineless or feeling afraid or why? Why are you in leadership if you can't stand up for somebody?
Oh, my goodness. Wow.
What is the point of you being there as a figurehead, as someone to just take what the boss say and go with it? You need to be able to speak truth to power. Facts change minds. Opinions do not.
Wow. Yeah.
Facts change minds. Opinions do not. Take your leaders the facts. Don't take them your opinion. Your opinion don't mean nothing to them. The facts will say, okay, wait, Dwight, hold on. 1 + 1 is 2. And the more we do this, the less tools we can get. Speak facts, speak the truth.
Yeah, we're talking with Ahmad Rashad Thompson. It's our HR series. All right, so I want to go back to the leader who's in the company. The company didn't perform as well as it was supposed to last year, but they're flossing, as the young folks say, right? All right, so yeah, you have other investments. Your wife is rich, and so you got.
Your daddy gave you a couple
right,
dollars,
exactly. But should you, knowing that you've asked everybody to cut back, knowing that they didn't get bonuses, knowing that you can't give promotions, should you try to not present yourself in such a manner that they say, well, you look like you're doing pretty well, even though we're over here only eating bread and having tea.
Having tea and bread.
For 3 meals a day.
Right. I struggle with this because I don't think I should. I think there's some nobility.
You don't think you should scale back or...
Here's what I would say to leaders, okay? If it is that your organization is not doing as well as it should, whether that's through performance, through the market, through the current economy, whatever that is, How are you providing additional opportunities for your team to diversify their income as well? Take them along for the journey. Okay, what does that mean, Ahmad? When I worked at my last organization before I left Corporate Bahamas altogether, I was being confronted by individuals who come from grassroots families, right, grassroots areas in our community, who only know paycheck to pay. The next check didn't even reach, right? So I said to these young men, how many of you smoke the weed? Oh, boss, no man, boss. Look at brother. Your cologne is the weed. Calm down. My job ain't to judge you for what you do. Everybody's doing something they shouldn't be doing. My question though is, do you smoke it? And if you do, how much is your spend on it per week? Dwight. The numbers range from $45 to $125 per 5-day period.
Wow.
On the weed. I'm not concerned about your habits, young man or young woman. What I'm concerned about is in 40 years, you can retire and be a burden on a society because you smoked weed all your life and didn't do anything with your money. I'm asking you to give me 5% of your base pay, which is about 40% less than your weekly spend on the weed, to put it in a pension plan. Or this pension, okay. Can you in 34 years go back to the weed man and say, hey, brother, I used to do the math, Dwight. I would do the math on the whiteboard with them in the room. They could see $100,000, $237,000, $150,000 in a 30 to 25 to 35 year period. Can you go back to Jerome to your corner and say, babe, it's time for me to retire, give me back my money?
What's his name?
Whoever his name, Jerome, Paul, Mary, Susan, whatever their name is.
Okay.
Can you go back to him after 40 years and say, man, listen, I'm going to give you all my hard-earned money, run me back some enough of my pension. You will be the next statistic in our newspaper.
Oh my gosh.
Rather than investing that money into a thing that's not going to serve your body, your mind, your spirit, or your chance of getting in heaven. I'm just here just saying. Take 5% of that. Take 5% of the 125. You're only making $325 a week. So you're taking the 30 of your pay to give to one day, to feel good for 24 minutes, to be dead hungry in the morning and dead cross in the morning. You're late for work. You can't focus because your mind ain't clear. But in 30 years, you have nothing to show for your investment. So my challenge to them was, okay, take 5% of your money. In fact, give me 10. You're supposed to give God 10, give yourself 10 too. So give God 10, give you 10. That's 15% going to a fund that you will see eventually, right? I'm giving them opportunities while the company may be doing well, or the president or the big executives driving a fancy car. That don't concern you. They've worked for that. They've worked for that, Dwight. I'm not saying that every leader is honest and integral, but it is not your business to get into my business with how I spend my money.
So don't get upset if your leader is on TikTok bragging about all the things
the
they got for Christmas and the jewelry.
They
and
have
the clothes they're
positioned themselves, in my opinion, Dwight, to live that sort of life. How are you positioning yourself to live your life? Every quarter, you in another bank get another top up on your loan. You need a suit just to go away. Right? You have 47-inch rims on a car that can't start. This is not a place of judgment. People hear me very clearly. What I'm saying is we misprioritize our finances and we judge those that do not. You don't have that right to do that. I'm a business owner. You do not get to judge me for how I spend and diversify my money. You do not get to do that. What I have to do for you, though, as your leader, is find ways to help you make the most of what you get paid. Every job, what I tell my clients is all the time. I tell the employees of my clients is all the time. Every job has a salary band. You can't expect to make the million doing the job that's only pay $1. Come on. What do you want more? If you want more, you have to do more. That's the bottom line. I can't request more of God and don't give God more of my time. You want more from us. So why didn't the boss want more from you? You looking at him driving his fancy car, reversing in the spot, and you catching the bus, again, no judgment. But you are frustrated with him because he or she has done the work to diversify, to whatever, to do well. But you are doing this, making the same mistakes every year, going down the same rabbit holes every year, making the same debt investments every year, but you're not doing anything to get any better, right?
Some people are probably thinking, hey, I know I'm here for at least 40, 45, 50 hours a week. I see the boss 15. And yet, here we are. So, I mean, what do you say to that?
I guess I think I have a different opinion here. Okay, so let's say, for instance, let's say you work in an organization versus I'm the business owner. I do not expect to see my business owner every day. But my boss, my leader, I expect to see him or her every day. That's a different circumstance, right? And if my leader obviously at a different pay scale than I am, I've never worked with a leader who was paying the same thing I was getting paid. Never. But never's happened. So if I wanted more of the money days make, I got to get to what days do. That's the bottom line. Now, is it right? Is it fair? Is it good? Is it noble for the leader to water down their life because you didn't get a bonus this year? I don't believe that's right, Dwight. I don't think that's fair to ask of a leader. But I do believe there should be a level of sensitivity paid to the fact that, wait a minute, perhaps there needs to be some other things that I can do for my team outside of a bonus, right? So maybe I've negotiated with a certain organization to get a higher rate of interest on a pension plan. Maybe you have discounts at certain organizations so you can spend more in a grocery store. So maybe I've leveraged my relationship with board of directors in some of these food store chains. Hey man, could my team member present an ID and get an additional 5% off or 10% off their bread basket items? Maybe I'm doing that type of work and I then socialize that to my team. Guys, we did not do well enough last year, but here's what we've been able to negotiate on your behalf. We know eggs costing $12 a dozen right now. If you take your ID down to budget food store or whatever on so-and-so location, you get it for $7.48. What? That may not be something for everybody because maybe somebody don't eat egg, whatever. I'm just saying, what are you doing now to also provide opportunities for them to live a better quality of life, right? Do we have a relaxed vacation policy? Is there mental health available for me? Can I take this stress now that I have because I didn't get a bonus to my psychologist or my therapist and say, man, listen, I'm having a hard time, right? Is there an opportunity for me to come in later on a particular day, leave early on a particular day? Like, what else can we do to make this worth my while, right? As we ramp up performance to kill it next year. Right. And I think, too, you can't, as a leader, listen to me very clearly, leaders, you cannot surprise your team at the end of the year and tell them no bonus coming. That's rubbish. How long did you know the bonus wasn't going to come? You knew from January everything was going all right. So every chance you get, don't hoard it over people's head, man. Every day can't be doomsday. But team, we're supposed to be, when I was in banking, we had a pipeline. We also had targets. So that every Monday we would have a meeting and we would talk about where we were against our targets, both individually and collectively. So at the end of the year, when Dwight got his big time exceeds expectation reward and Ahmad didn't, we know why. Yeah. Dwight's supposed to make 2, but he get 8. Ahmad's supposed to get 2, but he get half. What do you want? Get your salary, change your ways, and get better next year. That's it.
Wow. All right. We are talking with Ahmad Rashad Thompson. It's our Human Resource Series every third Friday on Morning Blend Business. Oh, we got some interesting messages coming in. You can text as well, 422-4796. You can tweet us. You can Facebook us. You can call in, 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. This texter says, Ahmad, I don't agree. The guy smoking the weed is not the leader. It's expected that the leader will have nice things. It's not expected and completely classless for the leader to flaunt their money in the face of people struggling for food. There's no debate about this.
Is it flaunting though? I think
Sometimes feels like that.
I think we do the disservice to ourselves. And we harshly judge people who have the right to spend their money, right? And the point about the weed is not that that's the leader spending the weed. My point about that whole scenario was that if you're spending this time and this money on a thing that can't serve you, why not take a portion of that and put it in something that can serve you?
Yeah.
That was my point about that. Not to say there's no judgment about anybody smoking whatever they want to smoke, that's on you. But my point is, if you're smoking that and you're spending that $125 or $75 a week or whatever it is, what are you spending on yourself to make your next 30 years more beneficial for you? That's my point.
Wow. This texture says, caller, we'll get to you in a second. This texture says here, I work at a firm and I never got a bonus in 25 years.
Whoa.
I'm curious, is it you or is it nobody in the company got a bonus for 25
Right, that's
years?
my question. That was going to be my next question. And 2, is there a bonus structure that's been communicated? Is this organization just not a bonus-giving organization? Or is it that you never got it? Because that's a whole different discussion to have. I'd love to know more about that because there are some organizations that don't give bonuses. That's not abnormal. But if you're saying the word firm, that's a business, 1. And 2, there's usually some sort of a benefit for performance in most firms. I don't want to generalize, but You didn't say I work for an organization. You said I work for a firm. That's a law firm, accounting firm. That's some kind of business that generates business for other people, and they're paid handsomely to do so. That's typically the case for that. Again, I don't want to generalize, but
You say architecture firm anyway. But
architecture.
So you never got it, but others did.
That's a discussion to have because there must be a reason. 25 years? No, man. I believe that's we don't have all the story.
But you're getting pay raises though? Are you getting pay raises?
Do you get increases in salary? Do you get increments? Do you get other perks because of performance? What's the full picture there? Because something doesn't sound right.
Wow. Let's take these calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight.
Hi.
And to your guest.
Good morning.
Before I forget, can you get my number from Dwight before you leave?
Yes.
I'd like to talk to you. Couple things. If you've been there 25 years and what you say is true, why did you stay that long?
All the best.
Understanding your value.
Dipset.
If you're extremely valuable, you should have had your resume circulating in probably the 5th year. But we don't teach money or strategy or critical thinking in schools. We just teach you how to ABC 1, 2, 3, repeat after me, make a bed, serve a drink, do it like this, copy, and repeat. Instead of think and move forward. I have to commend your guest today, Dwight, because everything he said, and he said it over and over, not hating, just showing you a reality that the man who worked 16 hours and stayed there 4 hours after you went home, you might have been drinking, smoking, watching TV, whatever you do, TikToking. He actually pulled up in the BMW today in a suit. And what you are saying should be taught in school from the minute you enter high school and leave primary school. But I would encourage you to do one thing. What you are saying is so devastating. Slow down a bit, because I used to have this problem. You have so much information, you're trying to get it out so quick. Disseminate that really slow, and sometimes repeat a pertinent point, because you're not hating on people today. And this show should be done once a week. And you should bring in other business people, Dwight, in my opinion, like this gentleman, who could say these things. Because maybe that person out there is listening and they've been on that job 25 years.
Wow.
I had 25 jobs before I was 24.
Wow.
Because I looked at something. I went in a coffee shop to work. I said, what's the owner make? Well, I'll never be the owner, right? Because that's reserved for children, his heirs. Well, what does the manager make? What does the general manager make? And how many people are waiting to be the general manager?
Come on, man.
So if I work 25 years, will my best hope be $400 a week? Let me tell you what I thought. I said, whoa, hold on now. And I'll wrap it up, Dwight. People sell hot dogs for $7, $8, right? The long, skinny set. I said, whoa, hold on. I want a hot dog with everything, chili, whatever. It's $7. But my son is with me, and he only wants a hot dog and a bun and ketchup. Hopefully someone's listening today. Sell hot dogs a la carte, and that means you get the hot dog for $2.50 or whatever cost is. If you want ketchup, it's 25 cents. You want mustard, another 25. Build your hot dog. So what would happen is, instead of me and the son paying $7 each, $14, I would pay the $7, but for my son, it would only be $2.75. So somebody, and you could advertise the most affordable, non-healthy lunch at $2.50. Where can you get lunch for $2.50?
I don't know.
And so I think exactly like your guest, Dwight, and please give him my number, because we need to start teaching the next generation and the people out there who've been on a job 25 years. I want that person to call back and give you, sir, the guest, his credentials, and let's help him circulate his resume. And then they'll see how serious and valuable he is, and they'll give him a raise.
Yeah.
Graham, thank you.
Thank you for your advice to slow down as well, sir. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
That's fix the
All right.
Bahamas.
Thanks a lot, Graham. Let's take another call, folks. We're running out of time, so make it a little bit quicker, please. Caller, you are on the air. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Good morning.
Well. Mr. Thompson, I agree with everything that you have said so far. I remember when we're going through the COVID situation, and then there was a talk about the major hotel on Paradise Island and the amount of profits that they made over the years and what they should be doing. Listen, as an employee. I agreed to work for you for X amount of dollars.
Yes,
You paid me what I was, what I had agreed to work for. I am not concerned about what you did as an employee, my personal view, okay? I got what I agreed to, okay? And so what the business does with its profits is none of my business, right? Now, I got my money. What did you do with those people who were working in these establishments for 30, 40 years? What did you do with your money? Did you use it wisely, or you were in Miami every week, or buying wigs and in the hairdress and so on and so forth? I think we have this so-called culture of entitlement that I am entitled to bonus, and even with some of these quasi-government corporations, I don't think they should be getting no bonus if the company is broke. How could you get a bonus if the company is not making any money? And sometimes our government signs on to these agreements and whatnot, knowing that the companies are not producing any profits. So, I tell everybody we have to take personal responsibility for ourselves, for our situation, for whatever monies that you have. You have to know how to use it, because you are the CEO of you. You are responsible for your life, nobody else. Don't watch nobody's business. Watch your own business.
Here ends the Bible reading.
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
good one, sir.
Thanks a lot. Let's take one final call. Good morning, caller. You got about 40 seconds. You got 40 seconds for us. Good morning, caller.
Yeah, good day, Dwight.
Hi.
Yeah, did you study the history of lottery?
Lottery?
Yeah, the history. On Tuesday, I asked you in the country to study the history of lottery, which will take care of all of these bills and the stuff that government ain't doing for us, and pay all the bills and the roads and what's happening with the hospital and everything. Please do that. That's to every behemoth. Now, what's his name?
Ahmad Thompson.
Mr. Thompson?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you on point. Graham is right and everything. When you talk about the fella that's smoking the weed, right? If what you said, you did some sort of collective thing and find out other things for the members of your team to get discounts and all that sort of stuff. Like, that's what we need for the government to get us gas from Venezuela. We need other stuff. Ahmad, I applaud you and everything what you're saying with your leadership skills.
Thank you, sir.
Right.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Have a nice day.
All right.
Thank you.
Some very specific text messages. I feel if I read these, you're going to get yourselves in problems with your bosses. I don't know. This person says, can you bring Mr. Thompson on every week to keep people motivated in their lives?
Wow, thank you so much.
Okay.
I
We can do it. We can do it. Let's find some sponsors and we can make this happen.
Yes,
right?
yes.
This is very interesting. Text here. I love Ahmad's passion. When is he going to have a leadership conference for men only?
Oh,
this type is lacking.
Okay, that person is in the spirit. I can't say too much yet because I'm still developing it from my instructions from the Holy Spirit, but it's happening this year.
Yeah.
I just don't know exactly when.
If the women are there, will it cause men to not be inspired? Is that what
no?
it
But
is,
I think his point is that we don't have enough spaces in our community, Dwight, that uplift men.
Okay.
Everything you hear about men in our country, I wouldn't say everything. I mean, don't be broad stroked, but the majority of the media coverage, the content that's out there, whether it's global or national, is lambasting the man. And we need to put men in positions to be around men who understand what it means to be a man. I ain't talking about sexuality and none of them kind of things. I'm talking about how do you build yourself up so that you can build other men around you.
Okay.
And you need to be in a centered space to do that. So that, sir, is coming. Whoever that person is coming. I'll be back.
Keep us posted on that.
Definitely.
All right. Most of this is not taught. Most of us are not taught the difference between working towards wealth versus just earning a salary,
Yes,
living
sir.
from paycheck to paycheck.
Yes, sir.
We're not taught how to invest. So that's a big issue. All right. So you're saying the bottom line, don't watch the leader in this regard.
I would say don't watch the leader, but take the cue from the leader. Now, if that person, for instance, that person with the 25 years of no bonus, listen to me, man. And then the example that the gentleman gave about what does a general manager make here? What is the highest role? What is the salary that he or she makes? What is the disparity between where I'm coming in and where I want to go? If you have aspirations for more, you have to do more. That's when I started the conversation by saying, find people in your circle, create a circle for people who do more than you do. If you's the highest earner in your bracket, please, for Lord's sake, whether you're making $1 or $1 million, if the people around you making less than you, why are you hanging with them? Pray for them, teach them, and help them to get higher as well. But you need to move on to the next bracket, to the next tax bracket, because those people are doing certain things that keep them in that tax bracket. You mad at them because they could go to Dubai for 40 weeks, but you can't go from here to the food store? How you mad at me for that? Mr. Graham said to please slow down. I'm sorry. I will do my best to.
Well, you might actually need to speed because we're running out of time. So really quickly, remind folks about the Shift Conference in 14 days.
14 days, January 31st. The Shift Conference is going to be coming back. This is the 3rd annual. We will be at the Bahama Convention Center on January 31st from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. is registration. We will provide you a lunch for you. Last year, the people was eating a finger, Dwight.
Whoa.
The food was so good. This year, we're going to have the exact same menu. We want to ensure that you have a day of absolute learning, absolute stretching, moving from the point of ambition to aspiration. Stop hanging with losers. And I mean that. I mean that. Who are the losers in your life? The persons that continuously tell you you're doing too much. The persons that continually say to you, why you want to do all of that? Ain't nobody can buy that. Ain't nobody can sell that. Stop hanging with people that continuously pull your vision further away from you. You need to elevate your circle. You need to elevate your standards. You need to elevate your expectations. In this life, Dwight, you can only experience what you expect. I need you to raise your expectations, Bahamas. Expect more and then do more to get what you've expected. You cannot experience what you do not expect. Join us at the Shift Conference this year, January 31st, 2025. Go to theshiftexperience.com. That's theshiftexperience.com. The shift is spelled with a Y. You're going to use the code BLEND25 from today until Sunday at 11:59 p.m. to get your $50 off of your VIP and our general admission ticket. Bring your crew. Do not do this by yourself. Elevate your community. Bring your circle. Take this country to the next level. Come and change your life with me on January 31st, 2025.
And somebody's asking, they say they want a speaker. How do they reach you?
My number is 468-0192. You can call or WhatsApp me. You can also email me at info@mytalentmatters.com because it does. That's 468-0192. Our email address is info@mytalentmatters.com. That's talent with no S, matters with one S.
And Ahmad Rashad Thompson's all over social media.
All over social media.
Find
me
anywhere. Yeah. And I'll post stuff about this as well on our sites. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, brother.
Always a lot to think about.
Indeed.
Good luck with the conference.
Thank you, sir.
We'll see you in a month.
Indeed.
We're going to take a quick break and then wrap things up. This is Morning Glen Business on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Is carrying a new line of tile, the Sky series of porcelain. Comes in 4 colors, tones, and shades. There's Sky Noir, Sky Azure, Sky Glance, and this one, Sky Gris. Sky Gris, as you'd imagine, gives you a smoky kind of feel. It's not heavy and depressing, but gives the area a chill feeling. The Sky series comes in 2 formats, 24 by 24 at $5.30 a square foot, 12 by 24 at $5.25 a square foot. I really like this series for big spaces, and being porcelain, they can take a lot of traffic. The Sky series at Pindu Tile.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This holiday season, give the gift that lasts a lifetime. Financial freedom with CFAL. Whether you're looking to take the stress out of holiday giving or plan for the future, CFAL has you covered. With our suite of savings products, you can start with a minimal upfront investment and low monthly contributions. Get a jump start with 2025 financial goals with CFAL Savings Express. Or give the little ones a head start with the CFAL Education Plan. You can also secure your own future with the CFAL Blue Marlin Retirement Plan. This holiday season, make your gift count with CFAL, where small savings lead to brighter futures. Visit cfal.com today to start building wealth so you can live well. Happy holidays from all of us at CFAL.
We've got your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. Pick up today's NASA Guardian and the Guardian business section for the latest in business news, including news on the U.S. Chargé d'Affaires saying the Bahamas needs to improve the ease of doing business, and the Department of Inland Revenue saying only 15% of firms have renewed their business license so far. And the Financial Secretary is saying that cruise taxes will impact government's coffers in 2025. All of that in today's Guardian business section. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday. Market movers, AML Foods Limited moving 1,174 shares, unchanged at 585. Focol moving 2,400, down 27 cents to close at 613. Consolidated Water up 4 cents, closing at 529. Emera Incorporated up 28 cents, closing at $9.07. The BISX All Share Index closing at 3,092.61, up 0.05. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And that is going to do it for us today and this week. I'll be back on Monday with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, a great weekend, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green next.
It's time to upgrade the way you enjoy at-home entertainment. Alive Fiber is here. Enjoy all your favorite channels and streaming apps, all at lightning-fast internet speeds with affordable bundles, and it's only a click away. Visit www.alivefiber.com to sign up now. Stay connected, live your life. It's good to be alive.
This is Guardian Radio 96.